Now I don't know who you are, but if you're willing to put a few pennies behind the bar with my good friend Soren there, I think we can work something out. I am Rex, one of the greatest investigators in the land. Self-proclaimed, of course. Now I would like to tell you about what happened this week with some good friends of mine. Around town, we are known as the Rat Pack. I myself did not choose the name, neither did any of my compatriots, but when you get a name for yourself, you just go with it, right? So there we were, me, Celeb the Dwarven Trader, Skullplate the Dwarven Slayer, Seacard, some noble from another city, and Lothgar. I'm not sure what he is, but I'm pretty sure he's a bit dodge, but I don't like to cast judgment too quick. So, it all started in the rat hole, with us being bored to tears by a halfling that decided to jump up to our table, little bastard, and proceeded to tell us bugger all about anything interesting. Apart from that Blood Bowl thing, that might have been a good idea, but he was providing the drinks. Luckily, our day was saved by myself when I noticed that someone might be upstairs with all our belongings. We also had a little help from Skullplate when he darted up the stairs and proceeded to break the entire ceiling of the rat hole on top of the halfling. Really wish I had gotten that Blood Bowl idea out of him though. There could have been some money in that. Anyway, Salt of the Earth Soren announced that anyone who helped fix the ceiling would get some free board and some free beer. I did, however, omit the beer part to the dwarves, partly due to the fact that they would try to get the beer up front and then be next to bloody useless for the rest of the day. So, apart from Celeb trying to rob a dead halfling under a rotted oak joist, there was just the issue of not having the skills to fix this between us. So after getting jeered at by Soren for me asking a stupid question, we went next door to the Carpenters Guild, which, due to a lack of work, were quite happy to help us out, should we be able to find the raw materials. Because the local lord is off his rocker, and doesn't allow trees to be cut down in a town surrounded by sodding trees. After following up on a few leads and making sure no one was trying to kill us, because that beam was right above our usual table, we decided to set off to an abandoned shack somewhere, but not before seeing the other residents of the rat hole pass us in a car having a good laugh at our expense, more than likely. I hope they die in a mine or something. So, we got to the abandoned house, and it was as described, but we just needed the wood, so after hatching a plan to effectively level the house, which now that I think about it was a bad idea, we would then tear the place apart. Celeb, Skull, Seacard and Lothgar all set to tearing the house apart, while yours truly was on the watch for anyone who just heard that crashing building, because I swear they could have heard that back in town. The air around the building had a certain feel to it that I didn't like while I was wandering around in the snow. But just as soon as I was starting to relax a little bit, an arrow is shot at both myself and Seagard. Suddenly, we're under attack by Ungor. 4 of the bastards in a razor gore to be precise, the latter of which decided to charge me and put a gash in my right arm straight off the bat. Lucky sod. Now Skull literally leapt into action, burying his axe in the boar's face, while Sigurd put a foil through the other half of it. Celeb grabbed the attention of one of the other Ungor scouts charging at us, while Lothgar, well, let's just say he was supervising Celeb for the first moment and waiting for opportunity. The fight raged on, but we came out victorious. After a few of the beasties were cleaved in half by Skull, and I do mean that quite literally. Lothgar gave one of them the old 1-2 combo, and Sigurd turned another one into a kebab. Now, not all heroes get the killing blow, but we held our own, me and Celeb. After finishing the salvage, we returned to the town with the wood we needed on the cart to fix the rattle. With extra to spare, mind you. The Carpenters Guild were more than pleased to see us. To celebrate our victorious quest, we headed to the Last Stop Tavern for food, because if there's one thing you should know, is that you should not eat the food in the rat hole when you can avoid it. While travelling to the tavern, Celeb, the greedy sod, was so busy catting that dead halfling Silver that he got run over by the Lord's car, silly bugger. And it's safe to say that Celeb's book of grudges is now at least 1 line bigger. The others headed into the tavern, while I decided to hang back and try to pick up some information from people who did not realise they were being listened to. I did learn of a suspected witch in a place of worship. The food in the last stop was well worth the coin. As we ate and drank all evening, then listen to the local gossip. It was an evening well spent. Over the following week, there were a few scrapes to behold. I got into a situation with a witch hunter, in which I crafted the ultimate defence that no one could refute, including him. He seemed to have taken a shine to me, but I'm always wary of witch hunters, because they half-arse their investigations. Skullplate met some undead hunters, and let's just say he bought them a drink and had a listen to what they had to say. By no means an expert in the undead, but he's got more knowledge than the rest of us put together. Celep held an auction for a trading caravan. However, he was accused of falsely selling a man a sheep where it was a dog, but he did forget to say the dog part of the sheep dog, so you can see where the confusion came from. So that was what we got up to last week, and if I caught your attention now, why don't you tag along on the Roll Corruption channel Friday, 2000 hours GMT, where the Rat Pack will surely be at it again. Now I suggest that you take your leave before Soren makes you the house special. Cheers.
Myself slowly, unmute myself for the do-do-do. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up? How we doing? I know. Shout out to the opening spiel. Yay, there we go. A bit of echo as well. God, we're getting professional. Mr. Matt, thank you very much. Absolutely. Shout out to Alien for the opening introduction. And he has volunteered even to do it again. Isn't that right, Alien? Yay! And so, welcome back, everyone. We've got a slightly different cast today. We have Lazarus Black. What's up, Grim? How you doing, bud?
How's it going, guys?
We'll be introducing him in a moment, as we remember have a bit of a rotating cast. So we have a multitude of players. We have got about 7 or 8 in total. So every now and again you'll see a new face. One person hasn't even, no, 2 people haven't appeared yet, but one person really hasn't appeared yet, and he'll be around soon. Our Slayer is currently off slaying things. Not exactly sure. We'll find out next session what he's been up to. But for now, it's wonderful to have you all back. Thank you for stopping on by, and let's have some music in the background for this. There, that's better. Right, and so today's session is set 2 weeks after the previous. Everyone has spent a little bit of time doing work, menial duties. I believe Celep, alongside Splitbeard, had been spending some time assisting the carpenters in repairing their glorious home, the Rat Hole. Meanwhile, the others have been performing duties, earning some coin. Perhaps even a few purchases have happened behind the scenes. But, as per last session, this will be on Marketag, or Market Day. Something that occurs every 2 weeks within this town, and it is around about 9 in the morning. The sun has only risen a little while ago, although you wouldn't tell that from the dimly lit interior of this tavern, and our group find themselves sat around a table enjoying a breakfast ale. Rex. Soren and you are exchanging a few words at the moment, and he is inquiring as to how your arm is doing.
So, let me see. Alright, so my arm seems fine. I'm ready to go.
Mary Mundo. You don't need to roll for this, don't worry. He tells you that the breakfast hour is nearly over rather, and he'd like to spend some time cleaning the area up. So, if you could get the rest of your group to clear out within the next 20 minutes or so, that would be much appreciated.
Soren, you clean?
Hey. Yes, I thought I'd give it a go.
Fair enough, my friend. Alright then. I'll go and rouse the troops. Oi. Drink up, boys. We gotta get going.
Are we getting out of here?
Well, you ain't gonna believe this, but Soren wants to clean.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
It's almost worth staying to see that.
Well, we can't. He wants us out. So, what are we going to do today?
Well,
Nope, we got some rumors to look into.
We certainly do. Lazarus, what's up?
I was gonna say we should look into the witch in the church thing.
Supposed.
Yeah, heard a few rumours about that. Might be worth checking out.
Right here in town.
Yeah. Did anybody see those blokes who remember about a fortnight ago? The gits in the cart that were laughing at us as they were leaving town. Anyone remember them?
Yeah, I remember.
Cleared off to the mine, didn't they? We haven't seen them since.
I hope they died. Anyway. Alright then, so that's a good one. Uh-oh.
That's
All right,
pretty
then.
much the expression that Soren gives you over the table. Just giving you a bit of an eye as he's holding onto a broom.
Right. So let's start with the witch. And well, since it's market day, I think I'd like to check out market. Maybe have a stroll around there, see if we can get anything juicy off the locals.
Mark,
travelers. And I'm sure Sam would love to buy some stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right then. Let's go.
All right. As you each finish your ales in a rather hurried manner, I'm going to ask everyone to make me a consume alcohol check as you wolf down the rest of your breakfast, which is, of course, in a liquid form. This will be found within your skill tab.
Now, if this is watered down, is it going to be at a normal challenge rate?
This is a normal challenge rate, believe it or not. You've been given the good stuff. Seeing as some of you helped to repair this establishment. So, for those of you that have failed, you are simply a little bit on the light-headed side of things. Wow, Sighard.
Light-headed.
Wow. Okay.
You know what?
I'm
I
apparently the
think
only
I
winner.
You're going to use a reroll. Okay. I mean, you can.
Reroll.
Sure. I mean, it was a pretty bad roll.
That's an unconscious roll.
Yeah, well,
Well, it looks like you're cleaning up around him.
yeah, maybe you got a dirty pint, and perhaps even a rat was in it at some point.
Can I now turn to Soren?
Oh, he just has the shits for the rest of the day.
Okay, it's just less of a fail, right? A couple of you a little bit more lightheaded. Lothar, Sellet, and Sighard, you're just going to have a little bit of a negative to some of your tests for being lightheaded for the next scene, basically. Just keep that in mind. We're not going to shove loads of things on your tokens, but just keep that in mind when interacting with the local community. As you go to leave Sighard, looking a little lightheaded, Santiago, your servant, approaches.
Yeah, senor.
Yes.
What would you have me do?
Well, I think he wants us all out of here.
Si, senor.
I suppose you should probably go with us this time.
Si, I follow.
And he steps in to walk behind you, keeping a modest distance as you walk and make your way out of the tavern. The weather is pretty fresh. The wind is brisk outside. Winter is coming, as they say, and the days are growing shorter. And as you are leaving?
Just as I'm leaving. Yeah, just as I'm leaving, I'm going to shout back at Soren. Hey, Soren, do you want anything while I'm out?
Hello. Make a roll for that, please. It's easy. Language Wastelander, easy.
Yeah. Easy. Oh, starting off well today.
Oh, technically that's a pass. Technically that's a pass. You're fairly sure he said that he wouldn't mind a new broom.
All right, mate. We'll see what we can do.
Hey. Thank you. Have a nice day. And arriving outside, all of you are now in your beautiful home. You can hear, for a change, the sound of soaring coming from next door. It seems that even though it was 2 weeks ago, well, you've given the Carpenters Guild something to do at least. And so, where will you guys be headed?
Where's this?
Church, right?
You want to start with the church?
Because it's in town, and then we can leave from there.
Do you want to amble through the market, get some gossip on the way there?
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
it's on the way.
So
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
church, and then from there.
Market
Yeah.
church.
Okay. I will ask anyone that would like to make a gossip roll to make a gossip roll. For those of you that are slightly inebriated, you will just get a -10. So you can put that either in the modifier or in the difficulty for your gossip test. This is as you amble through the market, exchanging a few words. Not a bad roll for Celeb, but
Which one did you say?
alcohol has its way. Gossip with a -10 if you are slightly inebriated. And so, Lothar, you do hear one story as you pass through. A lady is discussing with her child about behaving themselves, and you hear... This just strikes you as interesting, at least. Although the child is being scolded, they are saying, "But Mum, I saw the demon. I saw him." And you hear the child exclaim that they saw someone in town that was the devil, or something of the sort. But the mother quickly hushes them up and brushes them inside. But aside from that, it's the same old story as you've heard before. That's the only one that perhaps strikes you as interesting. The rest is, of course, tales of the people just being disgruntled by the Lord, and those that just fed up of not having any money, and a few stories that are familiar to you. And so, Sighard,
Even drunk.
even drunk. I will say you, thanks to your class at least, although slightly inebriated, those around you afford you a little bit more politeness, let's say, and divulge a little bit of their information. Are there any topics in particular that you are acquiring into, or are you simply observing?
I
I should have
think
asked
this
that
time-
to you as well, Lothar.
think this time I'm just observing.
Okay. Similar to Lothar, I'll say that you observe his conversation, and otherwise, one of the individuals mentions that the owner of the Hunters Guild, the leader of the Tal cult, has been said to have single-handedly wrestled a Reichland bear with his bare hands into submission.
I heard this one. Yes.
But not only that, that he had somehow managed to talk to the creature afterwards, and then the two individuals discussing this sort of start cackling and turning to more jovial gossip. But that's where the rumour ends. The rest is them talking about their husbands and children and such. And so I think, unless there were any other positives, no. We shall move on. You are moving over to the suspected witch, if I'm correct. Okay.
Yep, if we're done gossiping.
Okay, well, in that case, let us move on to more tense music. There we go. Just in case.
Always a good one.
There we go. So it's the other side of the main road, and one of the few buildings the same side as the river as the home of your beloved lord. I tell you what, I'll drag all of you down there just for the sake of you knowing where it is. You enjoy a quick cart ride. The other side of the river, you notice as you step across, and this is an area not particularly frequented by most of you. Unless you're heading off to the mines, most people stay the side of the river to the west. to the east is either those that are involved in mining. Occasionally someone will pop to the bakery, but there are a few guards the other side of the bridge, and they mutter and murmur, and you get the impression that they snigger as you walk past, some of them looking down upon you, but with the exception of you, Sighard, who they do at least tip a hat to and acknowledge your presence, looking somewhat more refined. But as you cross over the water and make your way along the riverbank, in front of you is, and for anyone that was raised in the area, you would know this as the Temple of Raya. This has been here since the town has been here, let's say. Although the building itself is largely overgrown by greenery. Various vegetation has taken over. Ivy is crawling up the sides, although most of it seems to be withered and, let's say, decaying to some sort. And the front door has a couple of scratch marks on the front and a large crack down the middle. It looks like it's either been broken into or at some point has been attacked in some sorts. But you are there, faced with the door. But it does seem to be open. Who's feeling brave?
Master Rex,
No.
would you like to investigate?
No one. No one. All right then.
Rex.
I'll do it.
The door offers no resistance as you push it open. It barely hangs onto its hinges, in fact.
Ooh.
And there is very little light inside, save for perhaps a couple of candles. As walking inside, you are greeted with oddly the same level of vegetation on the inside. It almost appears that the entire building has been at least begun to be reclaimed by nature. A lot of the floorboards have ivy coming up from underneath, wrapping around, several weeds coming up through the floorboards. The building's not been tended to in a long, long time. But as the group of you arrive inside, you do hear a voice.
Could I really quickly?
Sure.
Are there any plants that I can identify as like herbs or?
You can roll me a lore plants or something that you've got that's vaguely similar to that. Let me just see what the hell that you do. You have lore plants. This is a average difficulty test. So that's basically plus 20, but you can just go on difficulty and select average from your lore plants, which is on your grouped and advanced column.
Yeah. So
And-
I just have to press roll, don't I?
And then you press roll.
Modifier plus 20.
That's the one. He actually has lore plants, absolutely. Well, this is the benefit of having an apothecary. Okay. I will say with that is that you recognise ivy, the family at least. You recognise its toxicity. However, this is a family you're unfamiliar with. You would at least recognise it as being strange.
Do I have gloves on? Like just regular leather gloves?
I will say you have some form of wear on your hands. If it could pass for a glove, yes, perhaps. It's perhaps folded cloth that you've fashioned into a glove, but yes, you've got something that you could pick it with.
Okay, yeah. I would like to like grab a sample of it and put it in my smaller bag.
Okay. As the others, make me an easy. Yeah.
I was about to say, while I'm doing that, like, because someone started talking to us, maybe I could just walk up and be present so that while he's picking, nobody notices.
Okay. So you're going to go up and to approach where this voice has come from. Lazarus, just roll me an easy dexterity check, and this is purely to try and not get any on your skin, assuming that's your aim. So what we'd do is on your main tab, dexterity, just click on the 41, and then on difficulty select easy, which gives you plus 40. So this is purely to see if you get any on your skin.
Oh, difficulty. Challenging.
Yeah. It's fairly thick and bushy, and the time is fairly rushed.
Ooh, just like the dwarf.
Okay.
I want to re-roll that if I may.
Oh, sure.
With a fortune.
You
That's a
certainly
Rex special,
can.
that is.
It's up to you. You can certainly do so.
I want to get poisoned.
This is poison ivy. The clue's in the name.
Yes.
do you want to be poisoned? I'm not going to say what it does. I have no idea. I'm just the GM.
I think that's still a success.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a little bit close, but you manage to, without the assistance of any tweezers, and you think to yourself as you're doing this, man, if I had more tools, this would be a lot easier. But you manage to get some inside of your pouch for later study when you have some time to yourself. And I will allow you at that point to look into it in a little bit more detail.
Should I add it to my trappings?
Yeah, we'll stick it at your notes at some point because we can return to that. Rex, inside the building, you hear the voice of a lady. It's fairly soft and perhaps borderline welcoming. Are you here to kill me, burn me, or would you like a blessing?
None of the above, actually.
You see in
Rex
the
Strangart.
corner of the room a figure from the shadows stand up and step outside, revealing herself to you, at least in terms of luminosity. She is... you're a local to this town, are you, Rex?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You would be familiar with this priestess. This is Yala. She has been... She was the owner, in fact, of this establishment. She's been here for as long as anyone remembers. A blonde lady of around 5'5", long hair way past her shoulders. As a priestess of Raya, she often had the reputation of being somewhat more, perhaps suggestive as far as priestesses go, but that is often the way of Raya and the followers of those that worship fertility. She has a few rags that cover her body. However, you notice as she steps out of the shadows towards you that she is dirtied and sort of withered. She's covered in muck, bruises. She doesn't look well.
Hey, Yala.
As well as I have been.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry.
We'll
I
assume
was going to say, how long is it going to take for me to walk in and see any of this?
you'll be in a moment. You'll be in just a mo. The others are inside at the mo, with Lazarus just plucking a few bits and creeping inside.
I'm gonna have Santiago wait outside the door.
Si, senor.
Keep an eye.
I watch outside.
So
yeah.
how can I help?
Well, we've been hearing a lot of rumours. Of course, rumours aren't to be trusted, unless they're true. We've heard a lot of rumours that there might be a witch operating in this area. And we just wanted to make sure that that's not true, because I know what the witch hunters are like, and they're more than likely to level Tom as a result. So, just doing a bit of due diligence.
She looks saddened at you saying that. And at this point, Lazarus, you walk through the door as well and see Rex conversing with a lady that looks somewhat downtrodden. She points around herself to, well, simply to the floor, because there's not a lot of seats left in here anymore. The place looks like it's been ransacked and emptied. It's predominantly an empty, sort of hollowed out shell of a building now. A few bits of furniture left, but most of them broken in some manner.
Can I do a heal check on the lady to see if I notice anything like if she's just malnutritioned or just old age?
Do you have?
I have heal.
You have heal, but you'll need a lore check in order to understand what's wrong. I would say you could do, if you don't have, you do a lore medicine for me, and this will be challenging. So just a standard roll. Okay. She looks perhaps malnourished. Perhaps. It doesn't strike you as any particular disease that you've seen. It's not the pox. It's not the trots. Nothing that looks familiar, but she looks still relatively young. Her skin is fairly vibrant, but all you can surmise is that this is perhaps more self-neglect? Perhaps.
Okay.
This is more of a hunch that you get than a certainty, even with a +3. But it's more a case of the +3 rules a few things out rather than telling you what's going on.
All right, cool. Thank you.
How big is this space?
So it's a large open building the size of a tavern.
I'm just gonna kind of walk around the perimeter with my hands behind my back and then just kind of nod at her and say, "Tell us your story, ma'am."
And she perches herself against the remnants of a table. Well, I appreciate you not being the witch hunters I'd come to expect, at least. I know how this looks. And she points to the surroundings around her. Do not think I haven't tried tending to this mess, but come the morning it is back, every day, without fail. The blessings don't work anymore. Few of you are familiar to me, I'm sure. Yes, and she looks at a couple of you that have been, let's say, born and raised in this town. I've seen many since they were children here. Nothing like this.
How long ago to start?
Around a year. It's surprising, really. It's taken a long time for someone to even come and say hello. The occasional visitor comes to pay an offering, but they never really ask anything.
Side question.
Sure.
How long has Tom been
3 years.
in charge?
3 years, give or take.
Did she say she can't bless anymore? Or just nobody comes for them anymore?
Both.
Oh.
So, assuming you ask for clarification, I do not know what's happening, but Raya no longer answers my prayers. The blessings just come out twisted.
So, I don't suppose that the Lord of Tom. When was the Lord of Tom last in here?
Well, he's never been in here. I've never met him.
Hydra, I'm gonna ask a question before
Sure.
I ask the lady.
Sure.
If I were to do like an examination on her, would I use a heal check or another medical check?
It would be a law check. Heal would
Okay.
be the action of healing rather than the diagnosis. So, yeah, law medicine, I'm afraid, is... You can maybe
Okay.
go in for a more thorough look if you offer to her, but...
Yeah, that was my intention.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. Would you like an examination? I'm a doctor of sorts. You don't look well.
I am not. She raises out an arm for you to look at and inspect. This is not something that can be fixed easily. At least I suspect. There is something far less natural. Inspecting her arm, I will offer you... this is challenging just because this is... Well, we'll find
Weird.
out when you roll. Yeah, roll me a challenging law medicine. Now you're inspecting her arm.
What?
Okay. Fine.
Let's
Let's roll natural ones on witch doctors and witch hunters and whatever. Sure. So basically, yeah, that's the best result you could have hoped for. What you can tell is you can feel her veins, and although not a doctor of traditional senses and perhaps shunned by the traditional medicines of Reichland, you know a few things about the human body, and there is something peculiar to her veins. Instead of the bluish quality that you would expect, they are a darker, more viscous nature. As you feel through the hands on the back of her, the veins on the back of her hand, you notice.
They feel like
yeah,
they're more like coagulated blood in it.
slightly, yes.
Okay.
There is something, let's say, disturbing to you, and I would say examining her makes you feel uneasy. What you would surmise from this, you would agree with her that there is something entirely unnatural to this. Your mind would jump to superstitions and things well outside of your understanding, but at least you are confident of that. This is no illness. This is
Right.
something, let's just say, unholy.
Is there? I know I'm like a boot apothecary apprentice, but would I have any knowledge of vampires or like anything that could do this to somebody?
None whatsoever.
Okay, good to go. So I'm just
Your
gonna be on the list.
knowledge of this would be pretty much the devil is bad. Something bad's going on here. Praise Sigmar.
So Lazarus,
evil afoot. My well, the only suggestion I could have is maybe I can give you something that will thin your blood, or I'd go see another priest.
Sure. I'll take what I can get.
If you want.
I was gonna say I have ingredients to make a healing poultice.
You can try. You can offer one to her. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'll offer her a healing poultice to help her with anything.
She accepts it from you.
Thank you. No one has offered anything here for some time.
I gotta make it.
Hopeful.
Yes?
so Yala, when was the last time you went outside?
I do not remember. A few patrons still bring me food. Other than that, I do not want to walk the streets a tainted mess.
Can't say I blame you. A lot of people would have some things to go and tell others about.
Yes. I've done my best to keep to myself. You seem to be the charitable sort, and this is perhaps Raya's way of sending someone. If you could. All I know about this is that this is beyond me. And I know nothing of the ways of this, but if you were to meet someone that knows of such blights or damnations, then you would send them my way, would you?
Of
course.
Not a witch hunter, I'm guessing.
Preferably
Witch
not.
hunters are useless.
Well, yes, I would like to avoid them.
While I was doing the inspection, I wanted to, while I was walking around, to see if I can find anything out of sorts.
Sure. Make me a challenging perception roll.
Oh, this is going to go well.
As you attempt to don your Lex Strangler hat. It's dark in here. Perhaps even darker than the rat hole.
Ew.
Very difficult to make much of anything out other than floorboards covered in a degree of moss, mould, and whatever else.
Can I light one of my candles and have a look around?
You certainly can. You can roll a test as well, and this will be slightly easier because it's less dark. You can have an average investigation roll, perception roll, apologies. As you investigate the corners of this building.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm going to re-roll that.
It is very dark.
May I give it a try? I have night vision.
Ah! Worth noting. Select,
still gonna
what are
reroll.
you up to right now while he's up to this?
There we go.
Ooh. I would probably tag along. I mean, dark, nasty caves
Okay,
or houses.
an
might as well.
average roll for you as well, Select, with night vision. Even though you're not stood next to Lothar, you can still benefit from his candlelight. There is enough here for your dark vision to afford some information. Lothar, you can surmise that a lot of what ails this building is growing from underneath of it. And a lot of the ivy is reaching up from under the floorboards, within the building perhaps, and creeping up in between and then up the walls on top. I would say that's pretty much as much information as you also get, Celeb. But Lothar, in addition to that, you do find a few, let's say, thicker roots that you get access to for this within the corner of the room. They don't necessarily stand out, but you sort of get a better vision of what this is. And at least in terms of the roots of this, although I assume you don't have much knowledge of plants.
But can I shout Lazarus over and point it out?
You can indeed. Lazarus, you are beckoned from the other side of the room by Lothar.
Yep. As I go over there and examine, which would you like me to roll? Plants?
What would you like to do to it? Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, well, so examining lore plants.
Okay, yeah, sure. Easy test this time. You've got a Lothar there by your side with a candle. You can take a few moments while the others are doing stuff.
Oh, idea.
Not sure what it is, at least in this lighting and situation. It seems to be, as you surmised earlier, a relative of ivy.
Does it look similar to what I picked out outside?
It's the same plant, but this seems to be more roots as to where it's coming from.
The roots are
So
almost
is it
coming
just
through
growing
from the
into the infrastructure of the building, just like normal ivy?
With one, you just think, with a -1 SL, you kind of just think, well, this is kind of the roots of the ivy.
Can I cut a sample of it? Or
You
is it
can
the exact
indeed.
same? What would you like me to roll?
Roll me one more easy dexterity check, so you get a bonus to this one.
Dex.
And this is basically you being the paranoid doctor that you are, trying to avoid it touching your skin in any way.
Right. Ah!
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Didn't know.
Well, I'm feeling better about the session
I
already.
get 3 fortune though, right?
You started the session with -1 because of our
Right.
our
Oh, no, I
doodars.
have- Right, and then I used 1, so 2.
You've used
now.
1. It's completely up to you.
I don't want to be poisoned. I think this is the last one. I
It's
gotta do it.
completely up to you. You're going to do it. Okay. I look forward to combat.
I don't know, it's going to be tanking.
Alright. I want to live. I gotta live now to live later.
Good. Good, because you take I assume the only cutting implement you have is your dagger.
Correct.
And as you slice the root of this ivy, thick, red, viscous liquid comes pouring out from it. You do not have to touch it, but there is enough remnant on your dagger to look at it, and it resembles that of blood.
Metal.
At which point you are incredibly thankful that you took your time to not touch this.
Yeah.
And you do not have to roll a check to think this is weird as fuck.
Good to go. I'm gonna warn everybody to not touch the plants, and the lady she should probably leave the building. So everybody, I think it would be wise to not touch the plants. And ma'am, I would recommend not staying here anymore.
Oh, and there was me. I was going to grab one of them, put it in the rat hole, brighten up the place.
Man, does this building have a cellar?
No. This is just built upon the earth. I helped build it myself.
Different question.
Yes?
So the mine here, is it like located way out of town, or is it like
out of town? Yeah, like a
town,
good
okay,
walk
so
and a
it's not-
jog. Yeah, no danger of there being a mine under here.
Right, okay. Just like a tunnel or something, there's something living under it, that's what I was thinking.
Who knows what your investigation mind pictures have jumped to right now. In response to your suggestion, Lazarus, Yarla responds.
This is my home, tainted or not. If it is to be the end of me, I will accept it, but I will not leave it.
Well, then I suggest that we find a way to remove it from here. Or could we? I don't know. We're gonna have to think of something, because this isn't healthy.
At your suggestion, she responds,
I have trimmed and pruned it every day. And I wake every morning and it is back again.
Alright then. So, I think we're going to need to go and find somebody else who knows a bit more about this kind of thing. Because Lazarus, credit to you, but I think we've probably gone as far as your knowledge limit can take us. Am I right?
Yeah. I can't tell you anything about magic.
Alright. Anybody else got anything?
I think we should probably do once around the building just to see if there's any holes or something that somebody might have gotten underneath.
I like it.
on the outside, yeah?
Yeah.
Sure. To condense it, let's just have a... Is it perception, or do we have an investigation in this game? I
think it's just perception.
It's just
for
perception, but have an... Make it an easy test for you, Rex, as you lead the investigation around the building with the assistance of your allies.
It's either that or I've got intuition.
Intuition.
Intuition?
Yeah, your nose will help you here. It's easy.
You want it easy?
Yeah, it's easy.
It certainly is.
You see nothing, although with a +5 you are confident as you circle the building, although these vines are wrapping up around it and encasing the stonework, the woodwork. The wood seems mouldy and like it could collapse at any day. You see no signs of anything burrowing underneath from the outside.
So is there like a line where it stops? Is there like a boundary where it just stops?
You got a +5, so I will say that it is denser at the side of the building closer to the town, and less dense along the side of the building facing away from town.
What direction is that? That's the Fishers, the Ram's Head, and the dock.
Yeah, so basically if you were to draw a line diagonal across your screen and the building, assuming the building is in the center, everything on the top left seems to be more dense.
Okay.
And everything southeast is slightly less dense. And that's with your +5. So that's a real Scooby-Doo right there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Gents. Noticing one thing here, it's a bit. There's more of it here than there is over there. What's up with that?
So this
Is that
is the
the same-
source of it then.
Can I do a lore plants to find out like if Ivy? Hey man, I'm doing what I can.
It's all about plants, man.
It's all about the plants.
It's a good thing we have the apothecary this week.
So what are you thinking with plants?
That like I don't know like where the source comes from, like how it grows.
Okay. Okay. Yep, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm all down for rolls that make sense. Make me an average test.
Go. Plants.
And difficulty average.
Yep.
Okay. Something to do with sunlight. They tend to like sun. Not sure.
Is this on the east or west side of the building?
It's sort of northwest side of the building. You can't. With a -2, all I can say is you're like, huh, that's a bit strange. But there's nothing in your brain that's like, well, they should be here because of. I mean, you would know with lore plants that they like to face the sun, but it's sort of. This is a bit weird.
Master Black.
I'm just gonna be like, maybe it's just it gets more sunlight.
Well, you know what they say, Mr. Black, that moss always grows on the outside of the tree.
But this
That's all I
isn't
got.
moss.
Ivy. So
Either
what
way.
else do we know around here that might be helpful?
Yeah, actually, it's
Standing at the door as the group of you go to leave and wander from this curious place, Yala does wave through the door as she closes it behind, and you hear her quietly, whoever is leaving, blast within the group. If someone could bring me some food within the next week, that would be nice. And thank you. Raises the poultice up to you, Lazarus.
I just wave.
Very kind. And she looks. You see her eyes fall to the ground, and followed shortly by sort of her head as her posture just sloops in front of you before she closes the door.
Oh, it's Celeb.
Yarr. Okay.
You worked with the carpenters last week, right?
Yarr.
You reckon you fixed the door?
Her door?
Yeah.
Might be.
Maybe we'll do that a bit later.
Yeah, let's worry about this plant first. I don't want
Worry
to
about the
touch it,
plant first, yeah.
or whatever it is.
So short of burning to the place to the ground, what options do we have?
I would recommend finding a priest.
There's one in there, it ain't doing it any good.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean another
He is a
priest.
priest.
A different priest. What if this was like a plant? A plant attacking Raya. I don't know.
Or that, or
The goddess of fertility that deals with plants can't
Yeah.
deal with plants.
So maybe you need something to cut the plant. Like a god to cut the plant.
what
I don't
god
think
is
so.
going to cut a
There is-
plant?
Well, the only other one around here is Tall. You're welcome to talk to them.
Well,
Best
is
of
there like
luck.
another church or shrine for
Two-
Tal around?
Two shrines. There is Tal and Raya, and there is a shrine to Sigmar, as you know, within the shrine of Tal's building as well.
Okay, it's like a
Let's try it on the map.
It's the Hunter's Lodge. Is currently the shrine / tavern. That's much better to get patrons in that way.
yeah.
Everyone's just searching. Where's that thing?
God damn.
That's how you get good donations.
Yeah, that's the only other religious building in town.
So the only other connection I've just made is, so we're looking at like a northwest, but we're thinking probably sunlight. But there is the off chance, because there was that bloke in the Ram's Head, wasn't it, who talked to a bear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the leader of the Allies.
Yeah. So, boy, gents, I'm a bit stuck for ideas. But there's also some funny business going on directly across the river. I can't help but feel there's a little bit of a link here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Should we go have a mosey?
Sure. But I suggest we stop and get some bandages real quick.
Oh, well, you should probably get this woman's food too before she starves to death in there.
Poof, you've got bandages.
Right,
Cool.
bandages.
Should I just...
You've got bandages, we'll deal with it later.
Somebody said something about food?
They're cheap as chips, basically.
Yeah,
Someone has a
penny.
hanky that you're walking past and poof, can I have that? You've got a bandage.
How many do I get?
As many as you need. They're really cheap.
Okay.
They're like a penny each.
Yeah. All right. So I think I have 5 pennies, 7 pennies. So I'll take 5.
Got a bunch of bandages, just in case.
Kind of want to go over and be by the dock and look towards the temple to see if there's anything that we.
Okay.
Well, Toll's in that direction anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, this is where I'm like, should have got some
gonna-
more of my scenic views.
I mean, on our way across the bridge, we come past the bakery.
Yeah.
Can we grab some, stale bread?
From the bakery.
Yeah.
Well,
that
Mr.
place-
Dwarf, you can certainly ask inside.
He's been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I'll go with
Are you stepping inside? How new are you to town, Celep? You've been around a bit, right?
Yeah, but mostly on the other side. Like, I'm
Okay.
a dwarf. I don't, baked goods is not liquid gold, so.
Okay. Let's just say you've heard that the bakery is fairly expensive, but you just put that down as being, well, of course they're expensive. They're baked goods. They should be.
Yeah.
Anything of good quality should be expensive. So you stop off on the bakery.
Still
on your
can
way
try to
through.
haggle a little, right?
Okay.
And I'm just going to sell it. I wouldn't expect too much out of this.
We'll see.
All right.
Okay. Inside cellar, you approach the baker, and in front of you is a rather rotund
It's a what?
halfling.
Halfling. Okay.
A rather rotund halfling, sort of resembling that of a bowling ball in shape. You right, my lover? What can I get yous?
See, I've been looking for baked goods, but I'm not really interested in, the good stuff. Let's see, you probably have leftovers you can't get rid of, and those things, they go bad, they get moldy. It's an entire loss for you, so I'm here to offer a little trade. I'll take care of your very stale leftovers, and you might make a little profit out of goods that you would normally toss out. How does that sound?
Roll me a charm test. You're not drunk anymore, so you don't get a negative, so that's good. Just roll me a challenging charm test. Okay.
We're both roundy. Roundy hard, people. Hard.
Yeah, the two of you kind of even in height, looking at each other from across the table, just kind of like squinting and nodding as you're talking. All right, in here. Makes sense. Yeah. What's up, Rex?
Something in the background.
Yeah.
Let's go. Same height, same height, same minds. Just nod my head.
All right. Heads out back and comes back with how much money do you want to spend on this?
I would assume a week's worth of bread, so let's be generous. Let's take a silver shilling.
A silver shilling. Okay. You get like a couple. You get. Let's just say you get half as much as you're expecting.
Lovely.
There you go.
I mean, maybe you didn't understand my whole, offer here. I mean, those are wares you would toss out after all. I'm pretty optimistic we can change something about the pricing here, right?
Even with your roll, he takes a little stick from down by his side and taps the pricing of the board. It's 2 silver for a meal here.
So no haggle check.
You can roll a haggle, sure. He's going to roll one too, but you can try and negotiate.
Fight me. That's my battle encounter for this week.
Here goes all the rerolls. Okay.
Yep.
So I rolled mine. Okay. Well, my guy rolled 29, and he's pretty good at it. So he taps the board again, but at a much slower pace. Sort of tap.
Would like to use a reroll.
Tap. Fine.
red check.
Sure. I'm really looking forward to combat today. Yet again, he taps the board very slowly. This time it's even slower. Tap. Tap.
All right.
Just,
Want to cut your losses at this point.
quit while you're ahead, mate. All right.
So you leave with effectively enough to sort of munch on for a few snacks here and there. It might last you a couple of days.
Good enough. Oh, the customer's shitty.
It's good quality produce. It's just out of date. There's like you might have to pull a few bits of mold off the edge, but
That's fine.
For somebody else, isn't it?
Toss it in a pot with a little bit of water, and it's just as new.
I mean, we live at the rat hole. Anything's going to be an improvement.
You don't eat food in the rat hole.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Unless you want trots.
Just inquiring as a GM, but is your intention to poison Yarla with this?
No.
Okay.
I thought we were being nice, but I don't know about this dwarf.
Okay. So
I haven't seen any of the chaos magic looking stuff in there, so
okay. Where are you guys off to, by the way? You're heading across the water, are you?
I was just going to ask a question to the halfling.
All right.
So mate, I mean, I've been around for a while. I'm guessing this has got something to do with the grain shortage.
Yep. That's
In
right.
fact, we're importing grain and stuff like that, isn't it?
Oi.
Okay.
And
So,
miners get a discount.
all right then.
Nudges his nose and sort of nudge, wig. Miners discount. They pay us a fee, so we give them, healthy discount. But means for the rest of the town we can put up our prices a little bit. It's good for business. Occasionally someone wants a birthday cake or something like that, and well, I'm happy.
Bet you are. And I just will walk off.
Okie doke.
off to the docks. Or wherever we were
To the docks.
To the docks. Okay. That reminds me. Let's have a look and see if we have a scenic view of the docks, because I actually might do.
As we're walking, I want to ask if anybody knows. You guys, any of you know anything about this Natasha? I think she's the herbalist in town. If she might have an idea about this stuff.
Do any of us know her yet? Wait, did I buy my herbs from her to make my
yeah,
potions?
you would all know that there's only one herbalist in town. It's like saying, do you know where Tesco's is? There's
And she's
imagine
bloody
myself ever
pretty.
being.
So
yes,
since we're all male, we all know her.
she is also quite difficult to forget as she is attractive, and she is the only one in town. So yes, you know where the herbalist is. All of you do.
What, the only attractive woman in town, or the only herbalist in town?
No, there's lots of attractive women in this town, which is really strange considering how crappy it is. But,
I blame the DM.
yeah, me too. Well, yeah, you know where she is.
Right, okay.
I think we should totally ask her at some point too.
Yes,
go there
I would like
first?
to see her again as well.
I bet
I'm
you
sure
would,
you-
Lazarus.
Let's go down to the dock first. I want to see this from across the
Docks
water.
first. Okay, so you want to go down to the fishing guild and look back at the Temple of Raya? Is that the intention?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
the banks and
So
bank
the
and
docks
stuff.
or the fishing guild? Where do you want to?
Opposite.
You want to go to the docks
that's
opposite? Okay, you can go to the
You probably
docks.
don't have a thing, do you?
Well, we've got a thing at the docks. Sure, you can go and stand there and stand on the... You could even go up on the bank next to it, sort of on Makeout Corner, where a lot of the young lovers will go. It's not actually called that. It's not actually got a name. It's just a place that, you know, where a lot of couples go to sort of basically sit, have a picnic, look at the river, occasionally watch a boat go past. Some kids sometimes go there to throw stones at them.
I'm just gonna bid a Sigurd. Sigurd, as much as I'd love to come to the Banging Banks, what are we looking at here?
Trying to see, because we looked around the outside of it, but if that... Maybe the bank going down towards the river, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't see.
Make a perception test. Hard. It's kind of... This is not detail that you're not looking at something under a magnifying glass here, so you can tell that it looks like a mouldy building, so difficult, effectively, or hard, sorry, because they're two separate things in this game. No. Hard to tell from here.
Oh, I was almost 10.
Pretty difficult.
All right, I'm out of ideas.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Not necessarily. You can kind of just see that it looks like a crumbly old building from here.
Crumbly old building, you say? Carpentry of use? And any sorts, you know?
I mean, if you wanted to
Seeing
go...
how the building, maybe the building is leaning in a weird way, suggesting there's a, you know, the foundation is giving in on one of the sides or something.
Roll me a... Do you have trade carpentry, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. I would say that'll be a bit different to like a law skill.
That crooked building is worth less, but I can't tell why it's crooked.
Yeah, like you would know a bit more about how to fix it, but you don't really understand what even as a dwarf, your knowledge of foundations is, you know, not quite up there yet. Give it time.
Even with my Lord Geology?
Just geology. You can tell about the grounds it's built on. I mean, just roll me a check, a perception, if you like. I can tell you what you can see. Yeah, we'll factor in all of your vast knowledge as a dwarf, but roll a perception test looking at it, challenging. This is just for a general take on the building. It is a building, it's an Ungi building, it's poorly constructed, and it shouldn't have ever been built outside of a mountain.
All right.
That's with all of your laws.
Let's go see the herbalist,
Yeah. Let's go see
Leticia.
herb.
Is that
Okay. We'll scroll up to the herbalist. Okay. Natassia. Depending on how you want to pronounce it.
So I'll walk into. I'll walk in.
Whee!
Okay, those of you stepping inside are greeted by a young lady behind the counter, perhaps 15, 16 years old. Young, well known within the town as one of the sort of prettier, let's say, ladies awaiting a suitor. Single as far as many are concerned, although... Well, that's all we can do gossip-wise for now.
Yeah. Alright.
She greets you as you walk inside.
I take off my mask.
Oh, jeez.
I turn to look at Lazarus. Fuck, you know.
What happened to you?
The fine aromas from the herbs won't get you sick.
Right. Okay. Natassia, how's it going? You alright?
All right there. Yeah. Anything I can do for you, lads?
Well, my man Lazarus would probably like to talk to you about a plant, wouldn't you, Lazarus?
Yes. I I have some samples of some poison ivy I've never seen before.
All right then. Sure. She offers to take a look, and
I wouldn't touch that, ma'am.
Yeah, I warn her it's very strange and probably very deadly. So I'll take out the leaf sample first, and then I'll take out the roof and like put it like maybe like a foot separate from each other.
Okay. I did a blind roll, but she's not too sure.
not sure. That's strange. I've never seen anything like it.
Interesting. Okay, well, thank you very much.
There's a hint that you would have got if you had seen the roll is that Lazarus, you probably got the impression she might be good at picking up plants, but you probably know more about them than she does. The way she was like poking it around and looking at it, she didn't really look like she knew what she was doing. I'm not going to give you any more than that, but that's all you get.
That's fine. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
No problem. See you
Stay
both.
Stay beautiful, Natalia. Sorry.
She sort of coyly shies away after the compliment and goes back down sort of behind the counter, rustling with something.
Okay.
Back on.
So, right, we're just standing outside the herbalist now.
Yeah,
right.
It's a busy day. Market day is... Oh, let's get rid of this tense music. This is making me stressed.
It's the music. That's why she rolled poorly.
No, it's far more chill. Okay. Yeah, she's waved you goodbye.
Yeah.
You're in the street. The street is busy. It's market day, and this is how it's so easy to pick up some bandages. It's just people throwing items at each other, basically.
We still need to go to the hunter/shrine, right?
I think we should handle that one as carefully as possible because you have no idea what. I don't know if you're 100% true.
While the rest of the party goes to the hunter temple thingy, thingy, the whole idea of repairing the door is not a bad one because it's goes in line with my idea of improving the general situation of the city. So I would take the time off and toss waddle over to the carpenters and see if I can buy one of the crowbars off of them. I wanted to have one anyway.
Sure, we can sort that later. You can provisionally, let's just say you borrow a couple of tools. Having worked there for a week, they trust you enough to lend you a small tool. If you need a couple of nails, you can buy them. We'll talk about that at a future date.
I got enough to buy stuff.
What I will say to you, Selep, is that did you hear that it was ivy that had blood inside it? Or were you paying attention at that point?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea.
I just looked around.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, if he's gonna go start building a door, I'm gonna advise against it.
Well, I'm just getting the tools,
Okay.
Not walking back. I just, while you guys do your religious Tal stuff, I can't do anything, and, I'm a dwarf, I don't care about Tal.
Very well.
Okay.
All right. So I guess we go.
He's off doing that. You guys are off to the Hunters Guild, the Ram's Head, the Followers of Tal. It goes by many names here. But
Where is this building?
at the Ram's Head, it is down south, and it's sort of the
Rex is already
Rex
there.
is basically stood there at the moment. So, the door is open as you approach this tavern. There is a fiery red glow coming from the inside. The common sight of this building, smoke bellowing out the chimney up top, and a hearty degree of laughter from inside, and a fairly, let's say, boisterous vibe to it. You are greeted inside with a, let's say, lukewarm welcome. No one tips a hat immediately to you, but there is a bar in front. There are individuals all aside, drinking, enjoying their time. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go to the shrine of Sigmar and do the.
I'm looking for the tall light.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the bar.
Bar, Tarlate. Okay, Lazarus, you know that the chap who's in charge is the big guy. Quite simple, because the guy's rumoured to be built like a bear, so it's hard to miss. Sighard, you, what are you putting in the shrine? I'll tell you what, as you approach the shrine, you will see a combination of, let's say, animal limbs. There's a couple of a rabbit's feet, a couple of small skulls there, and there is sort of an array of a few bits of silver, surprisingly, but mostly brass pennies that have been scattered around a dish and a cloth in front of a curiously shaped stone.
It's the towel.
Is indeed. I'll allow you to make your offering of whatever you have, and right, let's go to Rex first at the bar. The barman welcomes you in. He smiles, but not in a necessarily welcoming way to you. Not in unwelcoming, just.
You alright, mate?
Hey, you right?
Yeah. How much for a pint?
3.
Is it good?
Sort of squints at you and smiles a little bit, and just starts pouring a drink.
So, what do you know about the Shrine of Ra? Or the Temple of Ra, sorry.
He sort of takes his time, looks all around him, looks at the walls, looks at the ceiling, shrugs. You could roll me a charm if you'd like to try and see if you can spend a bit of time sweet-talking this gentleman into giving you some information and gossip about the...
Standard roll.
Standard roll, yeah. He's not the most sociable. He's a little bit short and brusque with you, actually.
Because he's a halfling.
He is a human in this place. There's no halflings inside. Strangely, no halflings, perhaps like one dwarf, but predominantly human inside. I'm afraid you're met with a fairly cold reception, though, Rex. Lazarus,
Shut down.
You approach a ginormous bear of a man. Lothar, what are you up to?
I was going to just kind of ask around, see if anyone knows anybody, well, either anyone here knows about odd plants or whether they know anyone that knows odd plants.
Sure, make me a challenging gossip while we're at it. And Sighard, before we go to Lazarus, what were you up to?
I was going to go do a prayer to Sigmar and then probably go up to the bar.
Okay,
afterwards.
you're doing some shrine worship and you go up to the bar afterwards. We'll come back to you in just a second. Lothar, a rather frosty reception in terms of gossip. It's a little bit difficult to get info out of these people. They seem to be giving you a little bit of the cold shoulder. Lazarus, you approach the mountain of a man.
This is a priest, correct?
Yes, it is.
Holy crap.
This is
okay.
Yeomand. And he acknowledges your approach, leans back with his arm. He's currently sort of resting in like a giant armchair that's covered in some sort of animal skin. The man himself has very harsh features in terms of jaw, eyebrows. I wouldn't say sort of Neanderthalish, but incredibly harsh in terms of features and, let's say, facial hair. Greetings, brother.
Hello.
Welcome.
By any chance, have you seen the Shrine of Raya?
Yes. A sorry state, do you not think?
Yes, I was hoping that maybe you can help us do something about it.
He sort of laughs and sips his ale for a little bit before eventually quietening back down again from his chuckle. You get a little bit of a sinister vibe from this.
If Yala would like to join us, she is welcome. But she has been abandoned by her god, and she refuses the embrace of Tal.
Well, I don't think she was abandoned as much as it's maybe something preventing her. And isn't it Tal, the one who married Raya? So shouldn't it be Tal's duty to protect her?
Make me a very difficult charm test.
All right.
You would see it's very difficult by the look on his face as you say this. It's sort of like, am I about to be thrown out of here? That sort of expression.
What is it? Very hard?
Yeah.
Minus 30.
Again, it's down to his expression. The moment you mentioned the marriage between the two, after a few moments he smiles and smirks and ignores you. Goes back to sipping his drink.
Well. Okay, well, is there like a donation box?
Yes. Well, there is the shrine. Yes, you can certainly throw a coin in. We're going to come back to you in a moment, throwing a coin in the shrine. Sighard, as you go up to the bar, Rex, you notice the barman being far more friendly towards Sighard than he was with you. Clearly, this man has picked favourites for whatever reason.
Jackass.
Sighard, a ale is being poured before you even approach the bar. Sighard is dead. We'll go back to Lazar. We'll go Sighard.
You did again.
Oh, push to
you're
talk. Right, you have an ale being poured in front of you, Sighard.
Excellent. Thank you. Pay for his and I'll pay for mine and Rex's.
Okay. And what are you going to be doing at the bar while you're there?
I would like to kind of I want to press him about the trying to figure out how to word it. Press him about the Temple of Raya and its kind of decrepit state. If he might have heard anything.
Roll me an average charm test. Rex, it doesn't need a roll to notice that he's been more frosty with you than he has with Sighard. Okay, sure. The two of you sit down. You exchange a couple of jokes with each other before he loosens up and explains to you that the situation with Raya is something that this guild, as such, has nothing to do with, and they have no interest in assisting. They've offered her to join them and sort of allow her to move her shrine in here as sort of like a subsidiary of the Tal worship as such. So they've made her offerings in that sense, but other than that, there's very little care for whatever else ails her. It's
Interesting.
I would say with a +6, you get a vibe that they're not particularly bothered about anyone that's not willing to join them.
Yeah, I think I had that feeling before I came in here.
Indeed. Lazarus, as you place a coin within the donation box, you do hear Yeomans beckon behind you and raise a glass up toward you. And he mumbles something, that some sort of cheers, before finishing the remainder of his ale.
Okay, so I didn't hear him mumble what it was that he mumbled.
There was some sort of salutation. Nothing unusual, but perhaps some traditional word that you're not familiar with.
Okay, then I'd just raise a hand up to him.
This is the first time he smiled at you, however. Bouncing back to Lothar, I tell you what, let's sort of zip. Lothar, having done your rounds within and realised there's a fairly frosty reception, the four of you at the bar. What's going through your minds?
Well, there's nothing else to be gained here.
Yeah, too many jackasses for my liking.
If we're going to burn either of the places down, this would be the better one.
Jesus.
We take. Don't worry, Sigurd. We take the shrine out first, all right? Take the Sigmar shrine outside the building, then burn the building down, all right? I'd say that
Makes you
pretty
feel
quietly.
Very quietly.
Very quietly between us.
Okay, noted. Noted. So, anything else anyone would like to do while inside?
Could I go to the... Is there a priest for Sigmar there?
No. Afraid not.
Okay.
Small shrine
So it's just
to
a
Sigmar.
shrine, okay.
Yeah, small shrine to Sigmar. But no official priest within this building.
Gotcha.
And yeah, you would have known that Yeomans, the guy that was not particularly friendly with you, was the priest. Or at least not particularly friendly until you put a coin in the shrine.
Then I'd just go up to the bar and just hang out.
Okay.
Hey, Lazarus, they don't seem too pissed off at you.
Because I donated a penny.
That's what they want. So,
You can't be popular in every bar, Rex.
hey, I can be popular wherever I want to be popular, alright? Anyway. As a result, so yeah, I'll dig in my pocket and chuck a penny into the cloth and then sort of just go up, come back.
Okay. As you arrive back, you notice your ale has been refilled. The barman,
Cheers.
with a smile on his face this time, hands it back to you.
Cheers, mate.
Silently gives you a nod.
What do we got for plans then? I'm kind of running
Yeah,
out here.
Well, we ain't got any. It's not like we can't go to another. There's no other holy people to talk to.
No.
There's no
So-
other herbalists.
There's no other plant specialists. I mean,
So, but we did get our food, right? Like, that's what...
We
Yeah,
did at least get our food.
Okay.
Well,
our
market's
options.
right there. I'll grab some on the way.
I mean, I gave her the poultice so she can put it on her skin.
I mean, we can either try pulling up more of the floor to see what's down there, or
We could
Try.
try to carefully pull them up and see what's going on at the root base in that corner.
Alright. I
we
mean,
could
that's
look at trying to poison it.
Well,
yeah.
can I roll, like, I don't know, I'd think of like a poison for plants.
It's a poison for a plant with blood in it.
Yeah, but I mean, I could think of just regular
Oh, you want to
plant
try and
poison.
make a weed killer?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going with? Sure. I would say the time it would take to do so would be something more endeavourish. But if you wanted to spend time between the sessions gathering ingredients and concocting such a thing, that is definitely an option.
All right, awesome.
Something that may have a more lasting effect, perhaps. Sure.
Cool.
I like ideas. Anything else anyone's doing within the tavern?
No.
I'm
Other
gonna
than-
tip on
Other
the
than
way out.
leaving it.
Tip the barman on the way out.
The barman graciously accepts, and you do get a farewell on the exit from Yeomand, in the general vicinity of the four of you that are leaving, at least. He waves his hand with a smile on his face and beckons that Tal will be with you.
Repeat it. Back at him.
Good, good. And
I'm
I
a true
think...
polytheist.
Say that again?
A true polytheist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think what we'll do here is we're going to take a small 5-minute break, because there's probably some people that need a bio, and, well, I do. So we're going to take a 5-minute breather, and then we're going to come back to a random in combat encounter that makes no sense whatsoever. No, we won't. We'll come back and see what the hell our group are doing today. So I'll see you all in a little bit, dudes. 5 minutes. See you in a bit.
Wasted stuff.
Loading back up, doing the things. There we go. Right, we're live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. After a brief break, we're going over to Celep, who's been... I guess, is Santiago still following you around town? Thorg.
Yep.
See, I went outside. Okay, he's currently stood outside with two hands behind his back, just eyes squinting, surveying the surroundings. Celep, you have been trying to repair a door.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to get stuff.
Oh, you're just getting the stuff and then going back? Sure. Fine.
Yeah, back to the party.
You've borrowed a hammer and a few nails, and it's sort of a bit of an IOU between the guys at the Hunters Guild, so you'll figure that out later, but you reckon you can try and, put the door straight, put it back together. Fine. The others there had no interest in doing anything within the building that was rumoured to be to do with the witch. So basically, you can borrow my hammer, but you're on your own. And so, all of you arrive together outside the Ram's Head.
So I turn to Celep a bit. Oh, Celep, you'd be glad you didn't go into that bar.
Lot of stuck-up oobies.
I thought they were actually quite nice.
And case proven.
Of course it.
All right.
Oof. Take one damage.
Stick
All
with it.
Where do we go from here? Anyone heard anything?
Well,
Nothing useful from in there.
I'm gonna walk around to the market. The market's still going on, right?
Yeah, it's market day. Lots of
I'm gonna
marketing
pick
to be
up-
done.
Pick up some food,
Okay.
bundle up, take to the Temple of Raya.
You can throw a
And
few
walk
pennies
through
around, get some provisions, sure.
Try to
Yeah.
see if we could figure out where that boy went.
Okay. It's been a while. Let's have a look. I think what are we going to roll for this? I think it's going to be... I mean, how do you want to find out where the boy has gone? Are you asking? Are you looking?
Gossip it.
I think I'll ask around and describe it to him while I'm picking up stuff from the vendors.
Sure. You can roll me a gossip test, and I will factor in the fact that you are a noble talking to lowly peasants. We'll do average difficulty, but you'll get a bonus after the fact. And anyone else that's doing a thing can roll dice, but that's enough. But it takes a little while, but you have eventually tracked down the mother of said child, who insists that he didn't see a demon. He's a very naughty boy.
How do you find her to be naughty? Was he did something wrong that you caught him, that he is making up stories about?
She insists that he's just often telling tales of things that he's seen around town and should have been doing his duties of skinning a fish.
At least, are his sightings all in the same area?
It's
Or
only
his
the,
tail not the same area?
only the once that he's said he's seen this. 'Twas this morning in a back alley.
There's a few back alleys or a few side.
Oh, she points you towards the direction, at least, of... Given your nice roll, you're able to charm that out of her.
Did he happen to describe it or just said it?
Yeah, what you get is that the only feature he described to his mother was that the demon had black eyes. Big, round, black eyes.
Other than that, look like a person?
They were hooded and somewhat covered. They weren't able to make out much else.
That sounds like a
Thank you.
would
No, I had her a couple of pennies, and then
Sure. Yeah, and as an adult within this setting, I'm going to throw in canon-wise that everyone here would know that elves have black eyes. Wood elves Welgi, wood elgi in particular, it is a trait known of elves. But it's weird, and for those watching right now, we're not in a particular point in time, and we're not in a place where there's a presence of many Imperial elves. We're well before the colleges of magic. Elves are more of a sort of try and avoid them, don't like them, even from the Imperial's point of view. Exactly. So that's all you get.
Can I do a perception check around us? See if anybody's sort of like just tailing us or looking at us, staring at us.
Sure. Yeah, let's do one of them.
That's what Santiago's supposed to be doing as well.
You want him to make a passive roll of looking around?
Watching my back.
Okay, yeah, sure. We'll do a roll as well. Si, senor.
Turn your upkeep.
Look around, and I find my skill. Perception.
And we just went full-blown racist.
Yeah.
No, Santiago seems pretty enamored by the market. And not much for him. Rex, you get the impression that all is well. No one is following you, but you deep down know that you have no confidence in that decision.
Can I gossip around, see if anyone else has seen these figures or anything unusual?
Oh, you certainly can.
Not with that, I can't.
Nope.
These dice tonight.
The moment you mention someone with black eyes, someone says, "Blah! I hate elves," and just sort of stamps the floor and looks angry at you for a bit. No, afraid nothing else.
I guess the next port of call is to go to the alley where he saw the black eyes, I guess.
Yep.
Who's ready to get robbed?
Aye.
Alright, so
We're gonna get
we'll go to the back alley where they pointed.
Sure. You can wander into the back alleys. And it's not a particularly unsavoury area of town. Like, you might get mugged late at night if you're wandering in the alleys on your own, but generally if there's a few of you, there's no gang warfare here or anything like that. Everyone's too poor even for that activity that is typically done by the poor. It's just not worth it in such a crap hole. Roll me any tests that you want to do in this place for things that might be relevant. So, and on that note, what do you want to do? You're in an alley right now. It's kind of the place where it's said there's...
What, are there any obvious, abandoned buildings around? Or
No,
anywhere?
you're between a couple of buildings at the moment. It's damp, it's wet and muddy. It's round the back of a couple of people's houses, but
Tons of footprints everywhere.
you're going to have to roll to look at anything more. But there's nothing obvious. You're just between some houses. Okay, no, nothing looks unusual. There's footprints, plenty of footprints, in fact. It gets a bit of footfall, but no, nothing unusual. It's just
my mask.
a
It's fogging up.
fairly inconspicuous place between some buildings.
Great.
I will afford you that there is no crates or hidden compartments. It's just kind of like, this is a place between a few buildings.
Where does the other end of the alleyway lead to?
It's sort of toward the fishing guild area of town, but
So it's from the fishing guild between two buildings and out into the market.
pretty much like it's not anywhere. Even with your rolls not being positive, you'd be fairly positive to know that it's not particularly helpful information to know where the alley was. It's kind of like the child was walking through, quote, somewhere and saw this. You don't feel any more confident in knowing where the hell they are.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get this food over to the priest. Yes.
Guess ripping up floorboards is the next job, boys.
Well then.
Or we can get
Yeah.
more information on the miners.
Yeah. Do that too.
Okay.
Minus first, then. That's
Let's toss a coin.
that's okay.
You can toss a coin if you like. What should we do? Roll 1d6. Should we say, oh, we've done a coin. Tail. We didn't say what heads or tails was. Well, wait a second. Wait a second.
Let's toss coin.
Okay.
There's no witches here.
Settle just tosses a coin in front of you. Ah! I don't know. Comet is you go to the religious building. The other one, is, the hammer is that you go to the dwarfs.
Okay.
Right.
Makes sense.
Now only one of you toss a coin.
Well, let's tell up.
Whoever tosses a coin first. Go on, sell it. Eyes everyone up, keeping the suspense going. Okay.
It's typing.
To the
Religious building. There you go. Right,
there we
you're
go.
going back to the Temple of Raya.
Right.
And we got crowbar.
Okay,
Yep, we have stuff.
back to the tense
We should
music.
probably get shovels too,
Let's see what shovel first.
because we can dig around the outside.
Well. Where are we going to get
Well.
shovels from, man?
Salop's borrowed a crowbar. He has a hammer as well. That's enough to lift a couple of floorboards. Depends how much you want to dig.
Not
Yeah.
overly.
First, let's everybody donate 1 penny for the damage we're about to cause.
I'm giving her food.
We're not causing any damage. I'm
Okay.
a carpenter now.
Is
So, well, we're gonna have to
Trying anything up. I'm
delicately
gonna
do this because we don't want to touch any of the ivy.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gonna need to find a source where it's coming from, and then
Well, that corner where I found it the first time,
yeah. So that's probably
where there was obvious, and then
Do we have
They're gonna-
candles or anything? Get some light.
yep.
Gonna first of all announce our presence to Yala.
I figured us walking through the broken door.
She welcomes you back in and seems surprised, if anything, to see you again. Hello again.
Here's some
Right.
food.
That
man.
was quick. Wow. She genuinely seems surprised to be receiving something from you.
And I put a penny in the donation bin. It's my last penny.
Okay. She smiles as you put a donation in, as if sort of like a defeated smile, as if like, oh wow, that's yeah. She's you could tell. So that tickled her.
Right, Yala. So, yeah, we've been having a bit of a think about what's going on here, and we've come to the conclusion that we're going to need a closer look at what's going on underneath the floorboards. Is it all right with our dwarven carpenter buddy here if he lifts up a couple? We can have a closer look.
And we'll repair the door for you.
She looks.
We bought bread.
She pauses for a moment and sort of looks, sort of hand on her cheek, looks down at the floor. I'm only worried of what might happen to you. If this is something you're willing to do, then by all means, but please do not put yourself in harm's way for me.
Luckily, I could help the injured.
Dwarves are pretty tough.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Well volunteered. So
she starts
go.
to
Enough talk for carpentry.
starts to jump in. Okay, make me an easy carpentry roll. Trade carpenter setup. On a
can I
fun.
help him, considering I have it as well?
Yeah, with the easy and another +10 I'll throw in afterwards.
This is a
Probably going to need it.
Okay. Nope,
Oh,
just
got
about.
it.
I was going to say
Oh,
on a double it would be something bad, but that's fine. It takes you a little while. You're extra cautious, but you've handled a crowbar the last few days while repairing, or the last week rather, while repairing the rat hole. And you're able to lift a couple of floorboards without any issues, exposing just sheer dirt beneath. And you can get to, well, where the roots seem to be coming from, let's say. But in front of you is dirt and roots. Well, I say roots, the trunk of the plant coming out of the ground. What would you like to do?
Could I look? I don't know which skill it would be, but so plants use nutrients, so I'm gonna look for anything unusual that a plant would be using to nourish itself, because it bleeds blood. You know.
Yes. I have no idea what you would roll.
Oh, I'm going to guess a law
Plants.
plant.
Do law plants. Do law plants. Let's just roll law plants, and I'll apply the difficulties after the effect. So just roll law plants.
Challenging then.
No, we'll just click. It's fine. Yeah, just challenging. So, okay. With that, all you're able to surmise is that this is weird. A plant that has blood inside of it, you have no idea what it feeds on.
And I'm guessing the ground doesn't look unnaturally discoloured or anything. Unnaturally.
This is fairly obvious. The ground is a sort of a... The dirt is a... No, it's more of a blackish quality to it. It's...
Full of blood.
Who is the closest to this right now? I mean,
I'm over by.
I imagine the people that we're examining.
yeah, Rex is inquiring. So Rex and one other person, roll me a perception. Roll me a perception test that's average.
Average perception.
Have it.
Okay. There's a little bit of like an ashy sulfur like quality to this. It's not good dirt. You've smelt a fair bit of dirt in your time, Rex, but this is weird dirt with a +3.
There's a group of dwarves in town, isn't there?
There's mining corporation.
Got one right beside you.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, I was thinking we can sample it and give it the sample to them. God bless you.
Sure, if we're willing to cart that about for a little bit.
I mean,
Can
we're
we-
going to go there and get more information eventually anyway.
True.
She said she built the place herself, didn't she?
Yes.
First spoke to her. Can we ask her what was here when she built it?
She recalls the tale of the construction of this building. It was on nothing other than the banks of the River Tarn. Nothing unusual, just ordinary dirt. And assuming that she has vision to what lays before her under the floorboards, I would say she grimaces a little bit and...
Don't suppose that during the construction there might have been an incident and somebody went missing?
This building has been here some 15 years.
So I started like a year ago.
Maybe longer. So everything was well for 14 of those years. So I have...
Say this happened a year ago.
Yes. Give or take, I have not been counting.
Anything happen around then? Other than the obvious around this building? Like, what were the world events, the town
I'm
events at that
gonna
point?
make...
There's also, we could ask, like, Any strange
Huh.
noises? Wow.
Mm.
It was a peaceable day.
And she recalls the day in which she woke and first found the ivy growing from beneath the floorboards, and begins to sort of exchange with you the tale of how this happened. It wasn't long before a few of the other priests that were here, there was around 4 of them. Well, there was 4 of them. The other 3 up and left after a month or 2 of this, claiming that somehow the temple had been tainted, or there was some corruption influencing the area, and they had left and she had remained. In terms of details around the area and around that time, she had no visitors the day before. It was sort of like a midweek. There was a festival going on within the town. There was very few that had come in here. And that's all she remembers.
Festival to anything specific?
So one of the seasonal festivals, like a harvest.
A harvest or something?
Yeah, one of the, let's say, ushering in a new season. Now, ordinarily this would be something that Raya was involved in, but for whatever reason the other priestesses attended, and she took to it to tending to the building for this day. But all she is certain of is that nothing unusual had happened within this building.
She mentioned trying to tidy it up every day, but in the morning it was trashed again.
Ever since, yes. So that's more her pruning the plants, let's say.
So the plants grow back again every day, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so but has she been cutting them today?
Yes.
Okay, so then we could stay overnight and see what's going on.
I would like to test 2 things.
Sure.
First of all, as a dwarf, geology, how dirt and ground should look, and what should be in it should be something I should know with geology test, right?
Do you have geology?
Maybe I can. Yes, law geology.
Yes, roll geology.
So I would like to figure out if there's anything in the ground.
An average geology test. Yes, Selep, your geology roll becomes relevant.
Woo!
And to those building a dwarf that think law geology will never be useful, ha! I laugh at you. Yes,
My ex was geologist,
Selep.
so there's a lot of information in the ground.
Every dwarf that has been, even some of the Imperial dwarfs, have done their fair share of mining or prospecting in their time, and it is rare to find a dwarf that does not have some knowledge of this. But you, Selep, recall in particular when you were a young beardling the smell that was described to you by your instructor during your year of conscription. And you recall him adamantly telling the tale that this smell was effectively a sign of taint and corruption of sort of the foulest type, and a few dwarven curse words would be thrown in there as well. And this is the work of the equivalent of the dwarven devil, but the dark ones and something very foul. That's kind of all you get, but the lingering impression is that ground of such a quality is built on a tainted place. Or something has tainted the place. But either way, bad.
Which brings us to test number 2. A plant filled with blood is weird. How does it react to fire? We have candles here.
Sure.
So just looking if it reacts, if it's sentient or It grows pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, let's go to a section that I already cut. Or she's been cutting it. I'm sure there's shit laying around that we can test it on.
Yeah, upon hearing Celeb's idea about burning this creation, you apply the flame, and in front of you the plant withers back in a manner almost expected of a plant. It shrivels, it starts to blacken, but roll me a average perception, Lazarus and Celeb, as the two of you conduct this experiment.
You said perception?
Yes, please.
Perception, average. Roll. Oh, nice.
Smooth.
Okay, Lazarus. As you were burning this leaf of ivy, nothing there catches your eye, but in the corner, the peripheral of your vision, you almost, for a split second, feel like a snake is moving down by your side, and you turn your gaze to look, and it is an ever so subtle movement, a contraction of the roots of this.
Okay, so...
And with the +6 and your knowledge of plants, you would know that that's weird as heck.
Yeah, like a serpentine, like...
Yeah, like it's subtle, but you can see it. It's effectively sort of withdrawing very slightly. It's I would say with a +6, you don't get the impression that it's going to sort of suddenly withdraw back into the ground if you set it all on fire, but it's at least enough to make you think that if the roots are responding to something happening in the actual leaf, that implies something weird that you can't quite comprehend.
Alright. Well, guys, the plant is doing something very strange to the flame with the flame. When one puts the leaf above the fire, it kind of contracts like a snake. Like if you would to put a torch in front of a snake.
It's trying to get away from the flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly normal.
Well, it seems fire is the most effective thing when dealing with things of unusual nature. But
Well, it's the whole building's wood.
Yeah, you
there
really
is
wanna bring
another
that in.
option that I didn't want to bring up because she's weird. But I have a friend in the Strigani. She's an elder, and I could bring samples to her. And maybe we can come up with like a toxin. Or
Well,
a
it's
cure.
probably better than burning the whole place to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, we still can burn the place to the ground.
That is a last option.
Yeah, it's the last option.
That is the last ditch effort. Because this is just... Ugh.
Rex,
Yeah.
would you mind rolling me an easy intelligence check?
An easy intelligence check.
I have one more thing to bring up after this.
Sure. During your flirtations with a witch hunter recently, and having exchanged a few stories and tales after the witch hunter had become quite enamored with you because you rolled a 1, which is really lucky, it just simply pings in your mind him recalling a tale of a town not too dissimilar to Tarm, where they had found a tree that was withered and had been decaying within the centre of the village for no reason whatsoever, and just to be safe, they'd burned the whole village to the ground. it just twigs in your mind that
Just twigs in my mind.
it just sort of like your just mind goes back to what a witch hunter would do in this situation.
Yeah, just burn the lot to the ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
The radical.
No, even the Puritan would burn that shit.
The Puritan burns everything.
Exactly.
I tell you to be the radical and not burn it.
I can tell you one thing, boys, is that a witch hunter would burn this shit to the ground. Flat out.
I second that.
So,
Looking at the map, this thing is like on the border.
Mm-hmm.
This building is on the border.
Right on the
is there a
outskirts
way-
of town.
Yeah. So, Rex, do you think that maybe something's just coming close to the wall and performing like a ritual? Like maybe we should investigate on the other side?
you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Okay.
So, put the floorboards back or just leave them up?
I would leave
I'd
them
put
up.
them back.
Leave them up? Yeah, we're coming back. Oh, well.
Okay.
I mean, if we want to see what happens overnight to those things, we might as well leave them up. I'm not pulling those boards out every time we come in here.
But what if something bigger comes through because now there's an opening?
Well, then we know what it is.
Spoken like a true dwarf.
And we'll be glad we haven't fixed the door yet.
Okay.
Really is there.
So we go outside
Right.
and check along the wall or what?
Okay.
I would like to carefully collect more samples of what
Sure.
the lady already cut.
There are a few leaves and such that that Yala has trimmed. She has a pair of scissors, which makes this a lot easier. Or clippers, rather. And has been, let's say, assembling and sweeping what she has trimmed into a small, neat pile. So I will say that you can take your time and assemble these now without any sort of further risk to your health. On the southeast side, you do recall, Rex, that this is the side that has less of the influence of said growth from the outside. But looking at the outside wall and the palisade, there is no evidence whatsoever of any of this growth.
Is there any small gaps in the wall?
A good question. This is the sort of thing where I think a roll is a bit daft, because you're looking for a gap that would be fairly hard to miss if it was there. So we won't do a roll for this, because you're just looking for anything that something could get through. And a small few crevices where, like a rabbit, like most of the palisade here needs repairs. But the majority of this seems relatively intact.
So no one could slip in, jump on the northeast side, do a unga bunga, and then get out.
But we are talking about magic here.
Potentially, yes. If someone were to be able to hop over a 9-foot tall piece of wood, which,
Is unlikely.
given a leg up, would be doable, but
Are there any kind of scratches like there were on the door?
that will require a test. So we'll say an average perception for this.
You know what you could do for group rolls is give him bonuses.
Yeah, you can have
3%.
assists normally.
There you
Oh
go.
well,
Yeah.
Rex has got it.
But we'll just get no obvious signs of markings on the outside here.
But they were on the door,
On the door, yes, on the door to the building.
which means it came from the if something were to come and like invade this building, it'd be coming from the inside of town.
So far, the scratches on the door, in addition to the growth of the flora, all point toward the town.
If I were to go stand by, because we said the largest amount of the ivy was over here, right? If I stand over here, if I stand over here and just look in the direction that it's facing, can I like roll a perception and like figure out if there's like
You
a
can
unique
roll a
building?
perception. I would say nothing until you've rolled your perception, in fact.
Okay. Challenging.
Yeah, this will be challenging. It's not too... Okay.
Ooh.
So... It's maybe pointed upriver. It's maybe pointed toward the bakery. It's maybe pointed toward Tarm Manor. It's maybe pointed toward the town. Perhaps the rat hole. It is somewhere encompassing all of that. It's difficult because it's pretty much half the building.
Right.
But it's one of those directions.
Well, if we look over here, there's the landmarks that face this way would be Town Manor, something upriver, the bakery, and the bar.
Ah, great. So just half of Tom then.
Sorry, which bar?
Our bar.
It's not the rat hole. It is not the rat hole. I know Soren, he's sound as a pound. It's not the rat hole.
No, the rat would have fallen over if it was dealing with this.
The rat hole did fall over 2 weeks ago.
How long ago did the scratches in the door appear?
Are you asking Yana?
No.
She explains that several children have taken interest in here. A few people have broken in and stolen what's here, and she effectively offered no resistance to them because, well, she sighs. There's been looters, there's been break-ins, there's been children breaking into play before she can shoo them away. There's been no shortage of people, but nothing sinister.
Well, Lazarus, it looks like your elder friend is going to be the best lead we got now.
Maybe it's something out a town coming from the water. This is on the riverbank.
I don't know about any of you, but if this is some kind of voodoo stuff, I don't know anything about it, and I
Yep.
don't even want to touch it.
Do you guys want to go to the Stragani camp now, or do you want to go to the miners first?
Miners are right there.
Yeah, let's do the miners.
Okay.
I would suggest you probably get out some fresh air before you start anew.
Yeah, I'll
Do-
let her know that the what was his name? Yergag, the priest of Tal.
Toll,
Woman.
Eamund, or Eamund, whatever it is.
Yep.
Yamond.
Yep.
I'm gonna let her know that he said she can go over there.
I am aware of his offers. He has lost his way.
What do you mean
He's
he lost his way?
She sighs, and if it were
Where's the
even
chair?
possible for this woman to look more depressed than she currently is, she slumps a little further toward the floor.
This is truly a depressing place, this town, but I have known priests of Tal in my time, and his obsessions are not... They're not in keeping with the priests I know.
Like running out blacksmiths and wrestling bears and talking to them.
I'm very far removed from the hearsay of this town, but whatever
You gotta
this...
know the blacksmiths got run out of town. On the one occasion, apparently.
Yes. I've known Harlites be traditionalist in their ways, and some certainly favour the natural armaments of life, but I have an uneasy feeling every time I look there. And an even more uneasy one every time I speak to one that belongs there, so I will keep my distance. I do not trust them.
You do have some greenery out front. You can at least walk around. Some fresh air. You
Fresh air
need
might
some.
be good for you. Maybe the pollens are getting to you.
One of her humors.
She sort of smiles sweetly at your, let's say, attempts to convince her to move elsewhere.
You don't have to leave the house. You just need to go out and walk around before you come back in, at least.
Sunshine. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else here, then we should travel on down.
Okay. In
So we're
response
going to the miners first? Oh, okay, continue.
No. That's, she's basically in response to your suggestions. She just sort of coyly slumps back into a corner.
Please use the ointment that I gave you, just in case some of the ivy got on you.
Well then. Off to the right.
See the dwarves now.
Off to the dwarves.
It's over yonder, yes.
So the dwarfs are one of the few buildings the other side of the river, or the same side of the river as you are currently. Toward the northeast side of town, the Miner's Corp, next to the Miner's Pick, is where you will find two of the Grunkrook brothers. Sometimes one, sometimes none, depending on the shift. But the door is open. The building itself is pretty consistent with the rest of town, perhaps slightly better constructed. Who is approaching and what are you up to?
I'm going in and I'm gonna look for like their lead geologist.
Okay. And I assume the entire posse have was waddled over here. Approaching inside, you are greeted by a small grey-haired dwarf behind a counter who welcomes you all in.
I extend my hand.
Hello. Welcome to the Miners Corp. What can I do for you?
Can we say I brought my cart along?
Sure. I mean, you've had time to do many things, Celep.
Yeah, I brought my cart over when I came from the carpentry.
Sure. Absolutely fine. Yeah.
Because in that case, regardless of what you Umis think you're doing, I will push myself forward and greet the dwarf and say, bring Grift's cousin!
So, Lazarus, as you were like raising a hand to be like, excuse me, Celep just barges you out the way with a barrel in his arms, looking like a keg, I assume, Celep, yeah? Yeah.
I brought gifts for me cousins.
The dwarf looks flustered in front of you and points over to his side, and you hear from the corner, through a door, a large bellowing in response.
Hello. Welcome. Oh, some doughy company. Marvellous.
You are following through this doorway. You are greeted with another dwarf by a table. This one slightly younger in appearance, currently staring at a monocle, or perhaps some sort of magnifying device for those of you that haven't been schooled in the ways of Reichland engineering, towards some stones, crystals, and strange let's say, rocks in front of you.
They're minerals.
Minerals. Well, yeah, that's a dwarf would know that, but these Ungi wouldn't. But yes,
I know plants, not rocks.
for an Ungi such as Hydra, yes, a mineral.
Hello. Welcome. What can I do for you?
Yes, hello. I was hoping you can take a look at this dirt that we found, and if you could tell me about it, and I'm gonna take the dirt sample and give it to him.
Sure. Is this within a pouch or a? I guess you don't have any other.
Up in a rag.
Yeah, I guess you don't have any other vessels. So after receiving the keg of ale, and well, let's go to a few words between the Splitbeard first. Like looking between the two as like I'm being offered dirt, I'm being offered ale.
Ignores me, talks to the dwarf.
Yeah, just sort of opens his arms towards Celeb. Cousin, come here. I am not seen you. You have frequented this place before, and you will have done minor tradings, but obviously giving a keg of ale, especially using the word gift, brings a certain degree of hospitality.
May I see you brought me some nice stuff? Wonderful. Good job, me brothers, not you.
Starts pouring himself a tankard.
Dirt on the table.
And allows you to pour it out. And inquires to the origins of dirt and who you are and why the hell you're here, offering him dirt on a table to investigate.
Yes. Hello. My name is Lazarus Black. I am a doctor of sorts, and I was investigating the Temple of Raya, and this dirt was growing underneath the floorboards, and it seems to be causing this strange ivy to grow on the building. And I was wondering if you could tell me the properties of this.
Okay. He strolls up to the dirt with an ale in one hand and a magnifying glass in the other. Takes a small sifting device. It looks similar to sort of a silver letter opener and starts to maneuver the dirt around. He then goes to touch it and rubs it between his fingers, and let's have him roll a test.
I would like to inform him that he should not taste it. Because, yes, the licking test is an actual official way to
That was the
determine
next test.
splitting
Yeah,
material.
that was
You
the
shouldn't
next
do
test.
that.
Okay, so
Stuff is
what do you say as he goes to lick it?
Listen, you should try tasting that. The whole place, the whole temple is full with roots that keep it growing, that Belgi magic, nasty stuff.
He moves his fingers away from his lips as you say that, and sort of flicks it off of his fingers.
Bitter.
Looks down at it.
Well, I can save you on that.
Pauses perhaps for the most awkward 30 seconds you have ever experienced as he sort of scrunches his face in various awkward positions.
That's not dirt.
Nope. What is it?
Yeah.
He utters a word in Kazalid to you, Splitbeard, and you don't have to roll a language test because you're a dwarf. The word he says to you translates to the dead.
Well, that's met with a deep and disgruntled grumbling because it's pretty much the idea Celeb had since we've been there. That's nasty stuff.
It's followed by a query as to whether or not you obtained this from a graveyard, or even a grave.
Well, I tell him what I know. Stuff started growing weirdly in the temple of Kriya, about ish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much the soil around those pesky rooms.
I can pull out a sample and show it to him. I'll tell him not to touch it and be like, this is the plant that's growing.
He will sniff. Oh, he's not going. We're just going to roll a D100 here. Let's see how much he knows them. Nah. He's grumbling, and he looks pretty. He's almost transformed from a chirpy, and certainly one of the more chirpy dwarfs you've seen, which is really saying something, to a more stoic rock at this point. Almost as if you just told him someone has died. And staring at this plant for a while and chewing on, well, what's probably his gum for a little bit. Again mutters a word in Casalid to you, Celeb. It's the Casalid word for chaos, or darkness, or death.
No.
Means many of those, but the tainted.
Yep. Doom. D-U-M.
That is the one. That is the one.
That makes Celeb more than uncomfortable, like not grumpily, but nervously so, because, you know, so far south and it's been so long since the first invasion and all that stuff, and that ain't good.
He does.
Yeah.
He does raise an eyebrow after saying that, at least.
Well, if you're going to be talking about this sort of stuff to everyone, keep your mouth shut. Find a way to deal with it, but don't get the witch hunters coming over here. That'll be the end of this.
Well, I can't really explain to the rest of the party what the dwarf has told me so far, because that requires me to speak out loud about stuff in human tongue, and no. So, what do we do here?
Grumble.
Yeah, he's really deep in thought right now. Like, he looks like a studious dwarf, and I would say that his beard is an impressive length. You would assume his age is at least 20 years above yours. Maybe 50 years above yours. Hard to tell. But at least you would know from the length of his beard that he is a man to be respected for his knowledge, let's say.
Do we have any more samples of the dirt?
I assume at this point that both samples have been handed.
Can we toss it in the fire?
I mean,
Celeb wants to get rid of it.
They're on the table, yeah, so Celeb can go and do that. The rest of you are kind of looking a little bit bemused at two dwarfs just mumbling in some weird language back and forth between each other. The dwarf in front of you, Bocky, will look toward the rest of you and speak in the common tongue.
This is tainted.
Looks like he's struggling to find the word.
The work of the Dark Ones.
Christ.
Be careful who you talk to about this. This is
enough to have a town buried.
More like burnt, mate. Which
My. Aye.
Shit. Right. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Just stand outside.
Wait, no, we need more information.
Don't- I mean, can we get any more from him?
Yeah, following. Oh, what's that, Lazarus?
I thought we had another agenda here too.
Well, just before we come to
yeah,
that, he's going to continue murmuring that
If you want any more knowledge about cleansing such things, then you could consider the Dowie. Casalid, perhaps.
Europe.
They cleanse it.
Ooh.
Not involving any Umi in this matter would be probably for the best. So let's see if we can, find where we find some Davi.
We have another option. But what would the Dowie do in a situation like this?
That's for the temple, the runesmith to say.
Oh,
I mean, you've got a few options. You can look for a...
and mutters the Casalid word for a witch.
I would not recommend it, however, or you could look for a wealthy Elgie who would tell you about Ponzi and blah blah and all the stupid wood and the stupid bloody Elgie. I'm not having an Elgie in my town. Boy, you could let the Casid deal with it and they'll do a proper job.
I do not doubt that. It's just the cost of one such thing might be out of our reach.
He was going to look you sternly in the eye. Even do you have your mask on at the moment, Lazarus?
I always have my mask on.
Despite the mask, he is going to look you dead in the eye.
Hey, what about the cost of not doing it?
I like fart a little bit, and then and like gulp, and I'm like, I don't know.
Man's got a point. Or dwarf's got a point.
Temple of Rala.
What do you need from us?
This is back towards Bocky, is it?
How far do we have to go for this?
Listen, I got a friend. We have one more option before we go out of town.
It's not an Elgie, is it?
No.
Good. Well, I don't mind. I don't know. More ale would be nice, but what do you want me to do? I'm a miner. I'm a prospector.
No, you've done everything I expected. Thank you, Sir Dwarf.
Goes back to glugging an ale. What's that, sir?
I would like to ask him if he knows any Temple of Valaya closer than Kakaskaras.
Well, let me have a...
Mumbles a little bit and goes to reach for some maps. And we will look at the map of Reichland after the session to discuss your options. But in terms of their trade routes and his... it's not so much a case of proximity in the current climate, it's more a case of where you can get to without being killed. Due to civil wars and such, you can't just go travelling to another continent without being murdered. It's...
I mean, there are human worshippers of Valaya.
Oh, sorry, Valaya, yes.
Maybe there are some in
if-
Bergenhafen or something like that.
Yeah, in terms of Valaya, yes. Bogarfen is certainly the closest. It's... In terms of here, you're looking at Valaya, yeah, you're looking at Bokarth and maybe even just going to Altdorf. That would be the two.
Yeah, but would we find the runesmiths there?
There would be a few of the Imperial Dwarfs. If you want a proper runesmith, you probably have to go to a Kazakh, though. I'm just saying, if you want a...
Takes caution for a moment in between sipping an ale while looking at you, Celeb.
If you want a proper Taoist opinion, you'd go to a Kazakh.
Yep. Just not... So, I mean, Karakaskaras ain't that much further away than the next big Umi cities, so one of my cousins over there will know where to find proper runesmiths.
Very well.
So, looking at the rest of the party, any,
Well,
counterpoints?
I think we should just see my friend before we go to one of the Khazalids, and we'll get one more option in discussing our matters.
Yep. Yeah, can do.
So,
Hey.
about the other matter.
Thank you, Sir Dwarf.
You're very welcome. Other matter? What's going on?
Oh, I mean, I'm done here, so whatever everybody else wanted to do here. I don't remember what the other thing we needed from them.
there was something going on at mines, at a mine or something, I think.
Oh, yeah, the people that they sent there.
Yeah, I mate. So, a couple of weeks ago, I think some guys, I think about 4 or 5 of them, all partied up and went off to one of your mines, I believe. Is there some sort of trouble going on?
I remember that a stupid ungie thought they'd go ransacking an old Towie mine. Let me tell you, if it's abandoned for good reason.
So, they trekked to an abandoned mine.
Aye, that's what I heard. A few of the road wardens told us they'd been headed up to the one over by the base of the mountain.
Gives a vague recollection of where it is.
Aye, we stopped mining that a few months ago. Nothing but coal, but a nice little hidey hole for some bloody umgak or, well, whatever Wazuk decides to call it home.
Right. Because they ain't come back. So, yeah.
He's kind of sipping on his ale as you say that, and doesn't flinch at all.
Aye, well, you go walking into a mine without a security detachment and it's not been inhabited for a while. What do you expect?
I expect 4 or 5 corpses at this point.
Exactly. Long dead.
Thank you for your time.
I mean, if you were a troll, you'd be like, oh, look, a nice little mine. I'll make that my home. Oh, I don't know, a bloody ungak or a gore or something nasty.
Okay. I'd thank the dwarf and leave.
As you turn around, he says,
But if we did forget to take some equipment out, because maybe there were some things in there that we shouldn't have found, maybe you could find them for us and there might be a few coin for you.
Much obliged. I'm just going to add that to my list of things.
sure. Do you want any more information? Or...
I mean, how much equipment are we talking about?
Well, a couple of cannots, pickaxe, couple of 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10. Few bits of equipment. I mean, there's not much in there, though. There's just a few.
He says a word in Casalid again, Celeb, that you would know would translate to rats.
Rataki.
In between coughing.
But then instantly, but there's not really any of that in there. But it's probably goblins or trolls.
Well, that, just more grumbling from me, not actually talking to the rest of the party once again, because topics you don't talk about in the city. But you can see, the party can see that Celeb heard something out of that makes him just more nervous, because he's just a trader. And those stories, not good.
Yeah. I would say the word he used was not skaven, or the equivalent, it was rats. It was just like the plural for rats, rather than let's say overtly saying ratmen. It was
the fact that he coughed it out instead of saying it out loud.
It was thrown in there. It was thrown in there as an obvious, like, yeah. It was not meant to be missed. Thus, no roll needed. And at that, he offers you 3 gold coin between the group, should you be able to return with all of the equipment.
Oh.
I mean, the money's there if you'd like it, but you'd be the first person we've offered to go there and try and get it back, and they didn't come back.
Well, we might have a look at that.
All right. Well, full disclosure, terms and conditions apply, and any injuries occur, then...
He's given us the exact location of the mine, right?
Yeah, he's told you where the mine is, and explained how to get there. You can go off of a main road and then a beaten path for a while. It's not been used by them for some time, but...
Has he got, like, a diagram of the mine? Like,
yeah, he's got paper and a pen wise. He can draw you a little map.
Yeah, that'll do. We'll have one of those.
Is this the same offer he made the guys that disappeared?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
All 3 groups.
That's a lot of plunder to be had there.
Well, we'll just grab all the info. We can another day, maybe.
Aye, well, have a little think about it. We're hungry!
And you can make a perception test roll, Splitbeard, because that was maybe a little bit more vague. Just a standard perception test.
And, alright. Oh, good enough.
You heard the word augury in there.
What was augury again?
It translates, just that you only heard augury, but augury translates to ogre.
Yeah, I got it.
That's all you got.
We should prepare for a devil like that. That's not, we're not going into the woods here.
What are you mumbling about?
I think it's a bad idea, apparently.
We'll check back in later. And I leave.
All right. He smiles as you leave, pouring himself another ale. I think this is like his 4th since you arrived. But
to be fair, it's human ale.
It's human ale, so yeah, it's the equivalent of his first drink. He's enjoying it, though. And so, I believe, Lazarus, were you hoping on...
Yeah, I wanted to go see my Stragani friend.
Okay. What I would say while you're wandering off to see your Stragani friend is there anything else the other players would like to do before we wrap up?
Nope. For now, it's preparation on my end.
Okay. And so, anyone else? Sigurd, Rex, Lothar? Anything else you would like to do before the day sort of wraps up?
Not that I can think of. I'm perplexed.
Good.
Is it almost nighttime now then, basically?
It's getting on a bit because you've been back and forth and talking to lots of people, having drinks, buying drinks. It's been a social day, but it's
A lot of intel.
It's the winter. The days are short, so you've got like an hour or two of daylight left.
So there's the last few stragglers at the market and stuff.
Yeah, you can still catch people within the town if you're up for anything in particular.
I was just going to go on another gossip
trip.
mission. Yeah. See what's happening.
Yeah.
Sure. So, Lothar, let's do the gossip test first before we go to Lazarus and whatever he unearths. Rex and Lothar, is there a target of your gossip, or are you just inquiring with the locals as to what's going on?
I think I'll go for a general inquiry just to see what there is.
Okay. Just a general inquiry to see what's up. And Rex, how about yourself? I'll allow you to roll separately if you have separate ambitions.
I was going to ask about the Lord, actually.
Sure.
Do you want to do that? I'll do the general one. I haven't really got anything in mind.
Yeah, sure. I want to know, like, how often does he disappear out? How often is it in the same
Okay.
direction? That sort of thing.
Lothar's doing the Lord. Rex, what are you up to?
General.
General. Okay. Go. Stuff.
challenging average? Average ain't saving that.
Yeah. And go for average. But yeah.
I'm taking a reroll off that.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do a reroll as well, I think.
There we go.
Not if I press the wrong button, I'm not.
Right. Rex going for the average and has got a couple of bits.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Wow.
I think it get worse.
No news on the Lord from you,
Yeah.
Lothar. Rex, another individual, reports seeing a strange, cloaked, mysterious... Well, they're not even sure if it was a man or a woman, but again, you hear the word demon. You hear some villager exclaiming, not that from first person perspective, however, they're saying, well, did you hear about so-and-so? They seen one of these. Basically, another tale of a black-eyed demon strolling through the back alleys of this town.
But who's the so-and-so?
Well, it's like my mate Janet from down the road, and she said that her husband, twice removed, had seen... You're getting the loose end of this. However, with the +4, you get that. Plus, you also get a rather juicy tale. And this isn't because Lothar was looking for it. This is just what's of interest in the town currently. That Lord Tom had recently travelled to Blute Rock and purchased the company of an entire tavern for the evening to himself. And given it was +4, 2 of the 3 ladies left disappointed.
Sorry, what? Where was the tavern?
What? Who? What? Rewind. The tavern was at Blute Rock, which is the town to your north. And this isn't recent gossip. This is just tales of the local lord. And it's something that a few of the fishwives have particularly taken a shining to telling each other that macho Lord Tarm had gone to a tavern and effectively, a brothel, and bought out the entirety of their stock, if you may call it that, and a few of the ladies were left giggling at the end of the evening at his exploits, let's say.
Cool.
You'd need a +6 to get more more juice than that, but
I don't think I could achieve a +6. I mean,
No.
I rolled a 9 for God's
you'd
sake.
have to buy everyone a drink, and yeah. I mean, that's
have to go to a
that's
tavern
all
for
for
that.
now. That's all for now. But not bad. Not bad.
That's a pretty good piece.
So those are the two things you get with your plus +4. And I think that's all from you two.
Yep.
Right, back to creepy music now. Well, should we go for... Oh, no, I know what we'll need. We'll need some...
Speed metal.
No, we need...
My party music.
No.
C violin.
I'm going to find something that really feels... There we go.
Lion King.
Lazarus! You go for a small walk outside of town. It takes you a few minutes to arrive at the camp of Strigani that you are familiar with. A couple of the more macho residents welcome you in with a, let's say, a rather condescending nod, but you're welcomed inside the camp nevertheless. And in front of you is an array of caravan, tent, but of course the one you are looking for, a particularly ominous looking and plainly decorated caravan, but the one that you know that your friend lies within.
I don't think we actually established her name.
I am not even sure she has ever told you her name.
Okay. So is this a tent that she's in?
It is a caravan. Picture a fortune teller sort of gypsy's caravan.
Okay, so when they set up, it's in tents.
Yes, there are a number of tents around, and a mixture of a sort of cart caravans tents. Probably
like,
some
little-
25 to 50 people in total.
Fair enough. Is her little area like on a carriage or is it a tent?
She is inside the carriage still.
Okay.
That is her abode. You've been there a couple of times, and although slightly eerie and creepy, hey, she knows a lot about these sorts of things and has helped you out in the past with, well, understanding the things that you understand.
Exactly. So as I go up there, I'm just gonna like knock on the wood porch in the carriage just to let her know I'm coming. And then I walk in.
Okay. As you knock on the door, you hear a creepy cackle, such as the way that only an old lady can perform.
Nice to see you, Lazarus.
Nice to see you too, ma'am. How have you been?
Oh, good.
Inside is dark. You can vaguely see the face of this lady. You've seen it once or twice when the lighting permits, but at present you can only see her chin and jaw. She's currently in front of a deck of cards.
What brings you to me?
Are you aware of the situation at the shrine of Raya?
Oh, yes.
And would you by any chance have any idea what is happening? I have samples if you would like to peruse. It would give you a better estimation.
She holds out both hands in front of her. Sort of both open palm on the table, her head tilting downwards.
I'm going to assume I place my palms on hers and do the same.
She takes a deep breath. Let's go more for tension, I think. There we go. She takes a deep breath in.
Put them on the table.
Okay. Place all the samples I have on the table.
Okay. She lets go of your hands and with one hand grabs the dirt and the other grabs the leaves and starts sort of mulching them up inside of her grip. And you can see her effectively grinding these into a paste. Yes, a little bit unusual with one's hands, but you can see the sheer force being exerted by them. It strikes you as odd, but then again, so has many experiences with this lady.
Right.
She lowers her head for a few moments, and a eerie silence fills her. Not a word is spoken between the two of you for perhaps a minute, 2 minutes even, perhaps 5. It's quite hard to tell. At this point, she raises her head toward you. Briskly. And by briskly, I mean if you blinked, you would have missed it. Her head cocked to a 30-degree angle to one side in almost a flicker. And again, before you have time to recognize this, her hand reaches for your forehead and 2 fingers make contact between your brow. Can you roll me a willpower check, please, with plus 20?
WP, correct?
Yeah. Plus 20. Marvellous. As she touches your forehead, you meet with a couple of brief flashing images, accompanied each by a separate pitch of screech. The first of which is a skull, bleeding from the eyes, and this is just a lone skull, let's say, on the dirt in the ground, but blood is dripping down from the eyes. This lasts perhaps a split second before it is followed by a bear, which is clawing at your face. You get the very brief flash of someone's last moments as a bear roars and swipes toward your face. And one last flash of a series of stones assembled in, let's say, an ominous manner atop a hill, surrounded by woodland. After which, you feel a pain overriding your body, one that you cannot tolerate, and you will black out. And that's where we're going to end today's session! Yay! On a fun note. Wow, she was really helpful.
The theory crafting is going strong already.
You should see the call.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that doesn't give you heebie-jeebies, then... yeah. Well, you passed your corruption test, but hey, there's some useful stuff there. Or is there? We'll see. Hey, thank you very much for stopping by today, guys. And, yeah, thank you to all the players for being players. Thank you all the viewers for being viewers. I hope the players had fun playing. I hope the viewers had fun viewing. Some people around the other end of town, Rex and Lothar, are still chilling over there. Celip's done stuff. Yeah. So you still got 2 kidneys. Yeah, I will let you know where... in fact, I will tell you now, Lazarus, that you wake up outside of the camp several hours later. And you will...
Just my mask.
No, you have not been touched. You have not been touched. But what we will do Before we go, yes, we will do endeavour rolls because
Time for
everyone
me to get another
here
witch hunter.
has to do an endeavour roll, so we have to click on the table to see what crap happens between now and next week. So we go on the rollable tables.
For fuck's sake, are you kidding?
Oh my god! Are you kidding me?
How do we do
The
this?
same witch hunter. Okay. Oh my god, that is hilarious for anyone that was here last week. That's amazing. Suspicion of heresy.
Again.
You fall foul of a witch hunter. Suspects you
So
have
that
been
favour you've got-
consulting with mutants, cultists, or worse.
Good for hanging out with us, dude.
That is absolutely incredible. We'll come back to those in a moment. It takes a minus 30 charm test.
That's a fail for sure.
Yep.
Hang on.
So's that.
Yep. Hang
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
I've got 4 rerolls to go.
You can
through.
only do one reroll on a
You can only
reroll
do
before
once.
you have to use a corruption point. Right. So
Oh, for fuck's sake.
effectively, you lose an endeavour. So
Fucking dirt.
effectively, Rex, your witch hunter that really liked you went and had a chat with another witch hunter who was deeply suspicious of how much this witch hunter liked you. And I'm afraid one of your 2 endeavours is going to have to be spent dealing with this person who's on your ass for a week.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, Carl, Moor's Embrace. One of your relatives, friends, or allies dies.
Yeah.
Damn.
We'll miss
nice.
you, Dewey.
So- I love this. Well, not one of the players, fortunately. So we will find out who dies within the gossip of next week. Who it is, I will not say. But someone you like, or maybe you don't like, has died. Wow. This table was... Just roll better, okay? Right, rats have infested your tavern, and unsurprisingly, the owner is reluctant to do anything about it. Yeah, makes sense. The party must all make a challenging difficulty dexterity test with a total SL of 10 required. If they fail, an easy endurance test must be made to avoid rat fever. Will everyone in the game now please roll me a challenging dexterity test, all 5 of you?
Do we have to type anything into SL bonus?
I just beat that entire thing.
No.
Oh, 100. Fuck.
You're screwed,
That's
man.
going for a reroll.
Okay.
As am I.
It's just
Lovely.
Okay, is any...
Roll mine.
Wow. So you needed a total of plus 10 between 5 of you.
I would like to re-roll mine. I still have 1 re-roll.
You can use your free roll.
To get 10 or better.
Oh my god, guys.
Wow.
Right, okay.
We go.
We got one of the 10.
You got 1 of the 10. Right. Now everyone and I mean everyone needs to roll an easy. This is an easy. Is it easy toughness? Let me just double check.
Endurance.
Tough. Well,
Easy endurance.
endurance.
Easy endurance.
Where's endurance?
It's on your skills.
On your
skills.
Okay.
Oh, come on, really?
1,
Well, that should be my last roll
2,
anyway.
Oh,
So,
hold on.
that's better.
3, 4.
I can do that.
Good lord, there's so
Fuck you.
many.
I win.
Why are you doing so many rolls so quickly? How am I supposed to keep track of this?
We just read the chat.
But there's so many rolls coming in. Okay, so Lazarus has passed. Some of you have rat fever if you failed. So I think, is it just you, Rex?
oh no, whoever just rolled that has just passed.
Oh, you got plus 7. So I think you've all passed.
So
Søren got
me-
rat fever.
Okay, hang on. He's all right.
I was gonna say,
What?
there's no way.
He's all right.
Well, I rolled
Well, it was
my,
an easy test. His target would have been like 70 or 80. So, yeah, okay. So none of you have got rat fever. However, this problem persists every session until you deal with it.
So now we have to go and kill all the rats. You were supposed to clean the bloody bar up, not release
If you
the rats.
want to start next session with a combat encounter against rats, you can do so.
Cleaning
Yeah.
crew got out.
Fight the rats next session. First thing
Good
we do.
lord. First thing you do,
thing you do.
everyone
Yeah,
dies.
fine.
Combat this time.
Okay. Sighard.
We're officially playing D&D now, are we? Fighting rats in a bar.
Oh, yes, you got my favourite one. Sickheart. News within the town is that there is a band of goblin pirates to the north who have been plaguing the... I love this. Plaguing the fishermen. Oh, dear, and those using the waterway. Trade and transport to the north are limited until that threat passes. Any riverfolk income endeavours may be made at a challenging difficulty.
We don't have any of those.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a band of goblets to the north currently giving the riverfolk some stick.
Oh, cool. So we can go fight them too. So next session will be just massive amounts of combat.
Dare you take on the rivergits?
How do I roll this thing?
What are you rolling?
So,
See if we
Are you doing endurance?
No, the endeavor table.
So on the top
right,
line.
okay.
So on the top
The
line.
3 lines.
There are 3 lines. Rollable table.
Between the scroll and the speaker.
Okay.
Between,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
They're much
Okay.
better at doing GM.
Now what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just roll.
Yep.
Go on and kill us all. Monstrous complications.
Oh, fuck me.
Okay. Yes. A monster
Oh.
chosen by the GM is causing panic among the locals. The income endeavour provides no funds until the beast is dealt with. The character can choose to each sacrifice 1 endeavour to deal with the menace, and this encounter should be roleplayed. If you succeed, you gain a free income endeavour to represent the individual rewards, and a feast is held in their honour. So,
Awesome.
I will say, if you start the next session with your encounter against a monster in the woods,
And then
Fight
you
the
can,
rats first,
you
don't
can,
we?
if you agree to do that now, then you may keep your endeavours. I'm working on the
Yeah.
assumption that you live, because if you don't, we'll have a new campaign.
We fight the monster in the woods, then we fight the rats, then we
Monster
fight
right
the pirate goblins, and then we proceed with the story. All right, that sounds like fun.
we're going to spend
I
3
would like
hours.
to have my endeavor.
The pirate
fucking
goblins aren't causing any issues with your income, at least. The rats in your tavern, you can do a dexterity test at the end of every session. And if
Yeah,
you
that's fine. I'm
eventually, when you get +10, you'll be alright, but failing that, you will get rat fever, which probably won't kill you, but will give you negatives because you'll have itches and pox and things like that. So that could be done at the end of each session if you wished. But the monster, if you guys want to do any income endeavours between now and next session, you guys are going to have to deal with that. Because effectively the town is being plagued by it. So good luck.
We can start the.
We need
session.
outplay.
Yep, Outblade will be in next time, and I will buy weapons now.
Yeah, so for anyone that's not wanting to be in the next session, it's probably a good opportunity. In fact, why don't you all just take the week off and
gonna
we'll
say,
just
it's
let
gonna
the
be-
Slayer...
Remarkably loaded roleplay.
I'll give him my potions.
We need a fucking
Like,
hunter
here you go,
as well,
bro.
man.
Right, so
Deal
on,
with the shit.
on that note, having burned all of your rerolls and doing extra bits and bobs, and I think you even get a free endeavour to deal with the menace and this encounter...
If we deal with the menace.
Ah, yes, okay. Well,
So if we don't manage to kill it,
I'm
We don't
going
get
to
rolls.
go with the assumption that you get a free endeavour and kill it, because I'm charitable. Because normally you would do the encounter now, but I feel like we should start next session with it because we've run over time wise. So we'll start next session, but you guys get 3 endeavours instead of 2, which is fine as well because it's Christmas. So ho ho ho! Happy cave trolls! You get a free endeavour. Fantastic, guys. Thank you
Also,
very
it's not Christmas, it's Cax End.
Thank you very, very much for watching, everyone. Thank you very much for playing. Thank you very much for things and stuff and happenings, and I'll see you all next time. And by the way, I think we're also having a break for Christmas. Let's have a little look, because Fridays aren't going to work, because next week is Christmas Day. The following week is New Year's Day, which I don't think I can do either. So the 8th of January will be the next session. So 8th of January. See you all then. Toodle pip.